It all comes down to the Breeders' Crown, most important weekend in the sport of harness racing, as we'll get a chance to see Champagne Problems trot this evening in good form, and later in the 2-year-old fillies. Pace looks good in Lulu. Her trainer, Ron Burke, has 20 Breeders' Crown victories to his name, and he calls this filly the best he's ever trained. And of course, tomorrow, the top-ranked horse, Twin B Joe Fresh, will take her spot in the limelight. She's the heavy favorite to be Horse of the Year. All that and more coming up on America's Day at the Races, brought to you by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net today. We're live here at the Meadowlands in East Rutherford, New Jersey, and the atmosphere is electric as we have night one of the Breeders' Crown coming up, and a great opportunity to see some of the biggest stars of this sport and some of the best fans as well. Glad to have you with us here with our FS1 viewers. I'm your host, Acacia Clement, as it is such a pleasure to be here in person at the Meadowlands. I've had the opportunity to learn quite a bit about the great sport of harness racing and cover a lot of these shows, but my first time getting the chance to do this show live on site, and what a night for it. Great weather and spectacular racing coming up as we have a jam-packed evening tonight. It's all about the 2-year-olds. We have the trotters and the pacers for both the fillies as well as the colts and geldings, and we're so glad to have you joining us through all of it as I welcome in my team to help me through this evening as we tackle all of these tremendous races. Paul Verderosa and Gabe Pruitt here with us on the desk. And Gabe, glad to have you with us here as tonight, of course, it's huge for the 2-year-olds in what are some wide open divisions. So those year-end honors really up for grabs tonight.
Yeah, it really is. The Breeders' Crown, Acacia, very comparable to the Breeders' Cup. The sport of harness racing started around the same time, 40 years in existence now for the Breeders' Crown. This is year number 41. 31 of those 40 years, the Horse of the Year has won a Breeders' Crown final. So that's how significant it is in the sport of harness racing. But tonight we've got those 4 2-year-old finals, as you mentioned, each worth $700,000 apiece, $2.8 million on the line just for the 2-year-olds here tonight.
And Paul, for all of the horses that we're going to have a chance to see, as I said, a lot of wide open divisions, and so this is the opportunity for them to really take that step forward.
Not only a step forward, but when I think about some of the horses that are coming in that ran well last week in their limbs, and then you got some horses that are coming in with some fresh legs underneath them. It always makes for a great battle on track. If you are a fan, you're going to love tonight. 2-year-olds are going to throw down, put out some great action out here at a place that is just electric. Night racing is great no matter what, and when you add in the Breeders' Crown and you add in a chance for a championship, it raises that level just that much more higher.
The stakes are high this evening, that's for sure. As Paul alluded to, last week we saw the eliminations for all of the races we're going to have a chance to see tonight. Tonight is where they'll throw it down for the championships. Here's some historic stats from the Breeders' Crown 2-year-old races, Gabe. I thought pretty amazing to see that there was a Horse of the Year that was a 2-year-old.
Very rare in any sport, thoroughbred racing or harness racing, for Acacia. But J.K. She's a lady. She was a special horse. That's been a decade ago now. You really have to be not only a special 2-year-old, but maybe, the 3- and 4-year-olds and up division not quite as strong that year, but take nothing away from her. She was brilliant, and we all remember her, again, a decade ago. Hard to believe.
And 87 divisional champions. Not surprising, as we mentioned, a lot more up for grabs tonight than just that winner's circle photo. As we welcome in Jessica Otten live with us here, our boots on the ground tonight, Jess. And of course, you being so close and so involved in the sport of harness racing, why is tonight and tomorrow night so important?
Well, I think you guys touched on it plenty. A lot of significance falls on these Breeders' Crown races. Like Gabe had mentioned, a lot of Horse of the Years have won the Breeders' Crown. And, it's all about everybody in the sport tonight and tomorrow night as well. From the trainer to the driver to the owner and the breeders. Without the breeders, obviously these horses wouldn't be here. You have the caretakers as well. This is the biggest stage this weekend. It's the greatest weekend in harness racing. We talked about it on Hamiltonian Day. You get your 3-year-old colt trotters to kind of peak at that day. And And then the whole sport gets every horse they can to try and peak last weekend. And then coming into this weekend, I think last weekend we saw, a bit of mix up in all of the eliminations, including those 2-year-old races. We saw, lots of horses come from well off of the pace. We saw some upsets. We saw some, favorites get taken down, and they're going to draw towards the outside of the gate tonight. We've seen some horses with only a couple of starts under their belts as well. So I think tonight's storylines and tomorrow's storylines are going to be really fun to cover. But the significance of this race does fall on a lot. There's a lot of wide open divisions as well. And this is the biggest race that they're going to race for all season long. So a lot comes to it, trip dependent. We'll kind of see how the track plays out a little bit here. Last weekend, the front end maybe not be where you want to be. So a lot of horses went down because that's where their typical trip would be. We saw Twin B Joe Fresh get beat and come back and draw a good post. So really looking forward to covering all the races with you guys tonight. And I'm so glad that all 4 of us get to be live on scene.
As am I, Jess. Thank you. We look forward to hearing your input throughout the evening as we take a look at what's coming up. Today's races, as always, presented by Claiborne Farm. 4 Breeders' Crown finals races for the 2-year-olds this evening. We have a couple of other fun races on tap as well. We'll be showing races 6 through 11 from the Meadowlands on Fast Main Track here in New Jersey. And we're kicking things right off on our program. Our first live race tonight will be race 6. It is the 2-year-old fillies trot, a $700,000 purse. And taking a look at the field so far, Gabe, it is the 7 Miss Belmar who's taking a lot of the early attention.
Yeah, a little surprised at that, off that 10-1 morning line of Acacia, even moneyed. I will note, no shoes tonight. So Treader Old Daly's opted to pull the shoes. You can't do that each and every start. It will lighten a horse up. You can think of it running yourself, without shoes. So he's opted to make that equipment change. A little bit of a green filly. She's just had 4 career starts. My problem is she's got a little tough time getting off the gate. She's not the handiest of fillies. That just seems awfully short price for a horse that may have a lot of work to do in the late stages.
Talk a little bit more about her competition in a moment, but drawn right to her inside is Luna Lovegood, who we saw impressively winning her elimination coming in. Dexter Dunn will be in the bike. We'll learn a little bit more about his story as he has a big night ahead looking to pick up some Breeders' Crown victories. We're just getting started on America's Day at the Races.
It all comes down to the Breeders' Crown on Friday, October 25th and Saturday, October 26th at the Meadowlands Racetrack. The $6.6 million Breeders' Crown has 12 championship races over 2 days. Friday night highlights the top 2-year-old trotters and pacers. Saturday features 4 divisions for the top 3-year-olds and 4 races for the world's best open trotters and pacers. Post time both nights, 6:20 p.m. October 26th also has a free handicapping contest with a $10,000 prize pool. Details at playmeadowlands.com. Must be 18 or older to wager. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
You're watching America's Day at the Races, live coverage of night one of the Breeders' Crown here at the Meadowlands, as we have the 2-year-old fillies trot coming up next in race number 6. We're about 7 minutes away as we take a look at the field. Now, a little bit of an interesting board at the moment, but 5-2 on the morning line and likely to come down is Champagne Problems, who's coming in fresh. And she has a very interesting story behind her as well, as we bring in Jessica Otten. Jess, give us a little bit of the scoop behind Champagne Problems.
Well, Champagne Problems was bought out of the Lexington Selected Yearling Sale for just $35,000, and Nancy decided to gift part of this horse, I believe 25% to both of her kids, and that name under the horse is the family business for Ella and Marcus Jr. So, you know, a good way to get your kids involved, I guess, is to give them a nice piece of a nice horse. Champagne Problems, this is a daughter of Tactical Landing. She's got 8 starts this year, 5 of those being wins, and she's got over $350,000 in the bank. So I don't think Nancy's going to top this Christmas present for quite some time, guys.
I would imagine not. Nancy Tactor, I guess, playing Santa, so to speak, but Champagne Problem, she's done a lot of good work recently, Paul. Now, it said that she took the bye. We didn't see her in the eliminations last week. Explain what that means.
So she earned her way in by her victory in the Doherty. And, you know, sometimes you have that bye, you want to have some fresh legs coming into the finals. They took a little time off with her. And listen, I mean, she's as solid as they come. And to be honest with you, I mean, Gabe, she's run well here, too, at the Meadowlands.
She really has. She's been good all over, for that matter. 5 wins, 8 starts, couple of seconds. So 7 or 8, 1, 2. You see she's pretty much geared down here, winning the Daughtery there. That was her way in to this race for driver Dexter Dunn. No, guys, the knock here is Dexter was listed. He opted to opt off of Champagne Problems tonight. Again, a horse he sat behind every single start of her career. He's opted for Luna Lovegood, who won one of the eliminations here last week. And I'll have to tell you, that move did surprise me a bit.
So Dexter going to be behind Luna Lovegood, as you mentioned. Bit surprising to see that driver change there, but he is familiar with this filly as well. So we'll take a look at Dexter's chances tonight. And Gabe, has to feel pretty good when you see those morning line odds and knowing that you've got live chances in every one of those Breeders' Crown finals.
It is all Double D all the time, guys. He is the man of the sport, originally from down under in New Zealand. He arrived here stateside about 5 years ago, and he's just continued to pile up major wins, huge earnings year after year. He's been the Dan Patch Driver of the Year in the sport of harness racing 4 of 5 years since arriving here in the U.S.
And Paul, as far as Luna Lovegood is concerned, as we touched on, she was impressive winning that elim. What do you make of her chances coming in to the final?
You know, when you look at her, I mean, that had to be like a statement win for her, right? Like, she's just like, I know she made 2 moves in the race. I mean, she just opened up easily and got the separation that you need here at the Meadowlands to win races. And she came home in 28 seconds. So the only little knock that I had was just that she kind of bared out a little bit in the lane, but I just think she was going so fast and within herself, it really didn't matter. And she's really the goods.
Yeah, and I mean, you see horses like that, Paul, they do tend to drift maybe a little bit, but watch Dexter Dunn. He's just geared down here. He is cruising. And that's really in the sport of harness racing to see, you know, how much a horse maybe is out is the action of the driver. He was sitting like a statue. She's never been better in her career.
And the great thing about Dexter Dunn, to be honest, is you're talking about a guy with hands of a feather, right? Like, I mean, he has just been perfect this year. No matter what he's done this year, it's been the right move, the right spot, the right space, the right time. So he's in his zone. He's got a real chance to break the record this year for most wins on a Breeders' Crown weekend.
And talking about his choice in which horse he's going to sit behind coming in here, you have one that comes off a big effort, Gabe, and then you have one that's fresh. Does that make a difference for you?
Well, you know, one thing about it, these guys sit behind these horses not only in the races and the qualifying sessions, and from time to time they'll sit behind them training them in the mornings as well. So, you know, I just think that as much as we can watch, as many replays, we can do as much studying as we do, they know these horses better than anyone. Who am I to doubt Dexter Dunn? If he chooses Luna Lovegood, I know it wasn't an easy choice, and actually I talked to Dexter maybe a day leading into that choice, and he actually said that, you know, he didn't know at the time. He was still sort of a coin flip on who he was going to take in this spot tonight. So I know it could have been easy, but, you know, success comes with its own problems.
Yeah, it certainly does, as we'll see what Luna Lovegood and Champagne Problems can do in this spot. So they're on paper kind of the two big ones. We talked a little bit about the number 7, Miss Belmar, who has been taking quite a bit of attention. Favoritism actually now shifting over to Luna Lovegood. Wanted to go back to Miss Belmar a bit, Gabe, because she is taking so much money. You touched on no shoes today. For those who might be unfamiliar, typically when we see racehorses, they're going to be shod before their races, and it is not the most common to see them racing without shoes.
Yeah, it is a little bit of an oddity, but you do see trainers doing it from time to time, particularly when you catch good weather, when you get a fast track. Again, you don't want to race a horse barefoot every week, but really a lot of times you can see a big improvement. Some horses, it's odd too, at first when they go to that equipment change, but I think it really lightens them up. I think that it means connections are obviously going to take a big shot, which they all are tonight with the big money on the line. I'm just concerned about her handiness. Only 4 starts. She's really been cautious behind the gate for driver Andy McCarthy, and that's my concern with her at a short price. I mean, she's got all the loads of talent, but I think things are going to have to fall into her lap here tonight. I'm just not sure she's going to be in the right type position to make up the type of ground she's going to need too late.
Yeah, it's almost hard to ask for a horse to win their first race in a crown final, too, in a major race like this. So a lot of steam behind her, no doubt about that. But as you said, just have to have the right timing and just everything fall right for her.
Yeah, you really do, and I'm just not sure that's going to be the case in here tonight. I think that she's going to be cautious off the gate. Wouldn't surprise me, of course, to see the 8 Perfect Annie leave the gate, and perhaps even the 9 or 10 in this spot. So, I could just put her in a tough early spot. When you get 10 or 12 lengths behind, it's just so difficult to make up that type of ground in the late stages.
We'll see how it plays out. Coming up, our first race of our program, first Breeders' Crown race for the evening. And on the shoes conversation, the number 1, Sound Judgment, has not worn front shoes in her last few races as well. Her trainer saying that he finds it relaxes her a little bit as well. So another kind of note on that equipment.
Yeah, and the good thing is, Acacia, she has had, really perfect trips. She's won consecutive victories. She won last week at her Breeders' Crown elimination. Trainer Jim Oscarson, known for bringing them along slowly. He actually drove. He's not typically a catch driver. Last couple of starts, he's put up the professionals, Todd McCarthy and Dave Miller. They stepped up and got the job done, but perfect trip. Will that happen tonight?
And there she is, winner of the Breeders' Crown elimination last week. As Gabe touched on, she's had good trips.
Yeah, and she's got a post tonight that will let her dictate her own trip once again. So we'll see what she can do from the 1 hole tonight.
She's a generous price right now on the board, 17-1. Sound Judgment, elimination winner, coming in here and does have the opportunity after winning that elimination to get a good draw. Here's the 2, Delaney Hanover.
Lots of equipment changes here tonight for this one, Acacia. Modest blinkers are changing the driving bit. She just missed a good runner-up in her elimination. Todd McCarthy listed back, though. He opted off tonight.
Here's Champagne Problems coming in fresh.
I'll tell you, solid as they come. And I don't even hold the losses against her because Mona Lisi got good and our Duchess had her moments this year. She's going to be tough in here with the right trip.
Has been very good as of late. She's coming down a bit in her price at 6-1. There's the 4, Cadena, a big price on the board.
Most expensive yearling sold in harness racing in the fall of 2022, $800,000 the price tag. She's a daughter of Jim Panzee, but from the Mare Mission Brief, she's got the stakes record of the Breeders' Crown 2-year-old trotting filly event, 150-1-4.
She's bred for it. Here's the 5, Lady Landia.
Being aggressive, worked with her last week early on. She also finished off that mile. She's got to look at a price.
Dexter Dunn looking for his first Breeders' Crown of the night with Luna Lovegood.
We saw the replay. She romped last out, but short price here, just 6-5.
Miss Belmar taking that early attention.
Loads of talent. They'll have to handle her carefully. We'll see if she can get her first win tonight on the big stage.
Plenty of early foot for the number 8, a Perfect Annie.
And I would assume driver Todd McCarthy would be aggressive. That was his choice over the 2 Delaney Hanover. She tried the front last time, got collared at 7-2, back at a much bigger price here, better than 20-1.
A Perfect Annie right now 21-1. Here's another price. Spicy Nice, 3rd in that elimination.
Good to see that she's gotten over her breaking issues that she had last month. And she clipped a nice horse in Lasting Dream to get in to this final tonight.
And outside draw in 10-4. What a bid. Hanover, 2nd in that elim behind Luna Lovegood.
Absolutely love this filly this spot tonight, guys. Double digits. Okas Fonset's taking the last 2 editions, the 2-year-old trot for the fillies with Warwi Michelle in special way. She's had all sorts of alibis. Last 2 starts, she's been loaded with trot, and she's had a ton of traffic trouble. Post 10's not easy, but it is going to inflate our price.
That's the field here for the 2-year-old fillies. Trot as the number 3, Champagne Problems, now 5-1. Jess, she is coming in fresh with that advantage. What are you seeing from her tonight?
You know, I actually like the driver switch to Scotty Z. I think he's a very patient driver, and I know the talk is Dexter sticking with Luna Lovegood, but I'm loving the 5-to-1 price you're getting on Champagne Problems. Nancy said she qualified great last week, and I really like the fresh legs aspect of her coming into this race. She's got plenty of early speed and good tactical speed off of the gate, and I think that's going to be much to her advantage here tonight. As you can see, she's 5 wins from 8 starts, so she really likes to win. She knows where the end zone is, and she's plenty versatile as well. I mean, that New Jersey Sire Stakes final that we saw here back on Hambletonian Day, I thought was very impressive. And she's just been super sensational since that International Stallion win down in Lexington. She looked very strong, and I think she could have even pulled off, a couple more lengths than the stretch, but she just won an ease that day. I'm going to stick with her. I know, like I had mentioned, I know Dexter chose Luna Lovegood. I wasn't all that impressed with Luna Lovegood's elimination last week. She did drift out. She looked a little tired. She probably will come back and beat me now that I say that at even money, but I'm going to stick with Champagne Problems. I also like Sound Judgment. I cannot believe that this horse is 17-1 on the board. 2 starts ago, she was 39-1. Speeds at both ends of the mile from post 5 in Lexington. Then they ship up to New Jersey. New driver in David Miller. Post 8, speeds at the end of the both mile there. Now she gets the rail to work with. I think this is going to be a perfect spot for David to push off of the gate, get positioned well, and have Trot coming home. Ever since they put up a couple of catch drivers on this filly, she's been sensational. She's got a really good early kick. She's got a really good late kick. 17-1 is definitely going to spice up the exotics. For Jim Oxterskin, who's back to the U.S. after being away for a little bit back in his hometown, and I thought I'd use Perfect Danny underneath for some price, and she's 26-1 on the board. This was Todd's choice in here. 3 wins from 9 starts. She just got out kicked last week by Lady Landia. Post 8's going to be a little difficult, I think, but I think Toddy's going to have to be forwardly placed in here and just kind of work out some sort of trip. She shows a lot of ones, but I think she's a filly who's pretty nice behind the gate, and I think she'll let Toddy, kind of do whatever he wants with her. But I'm going to stick with Scotty Z. He's 6-1 on the board, and we know when the big money's on the line, he's ready to roll, guys.
That is just thank you. So you see Champagne Problems warming up, and I am no standard bred expert, but I thought she looked great out on the track.
Yeah, I think she looked very good at the track out there scoring down. It's not like we haven't seen Nancy Tactor team up with driver Scott Zeron for some big wins here in the past. Tactical approach, the Breeders' Crown winner from last year at the age of 3, the Hambletonian winner last year. So Jess is right. But the money's on the line. They don't call Scott Zeron the money man for anything, Paul. He's very good, so it's a very capable replacement. I see this as a little bit of an overreaction. I think fans are buying into this Dexter Dunn choice. I don't think there is a lot separating these fillies. Again, I know it was a tough choice for him that came right down to the wire. Look at the discrepancy in odds. You're 5-1 here on Champagne Problems as opposed to 4-5 on Luna Lovegood. I know you like Luna Lovegood, Paul, but you even have to be a bit shocked at this short of a number.
It's a little short, but optics is everything, right, Gabe? So you take a look at last week's race, and the way she just opened up and the way she just finished off the mile, I thought was impressive. Now, I mean, the flip side to it, as I alluded to, and also Jess said, that little bit of bearing out, but in Dexter I trust. So, but I have to take 4-5 in order to do that on a horse that I think is the best horse in here. And I also think, the other thing with Luna Lovegood is it's not necessarily that she's got to just fly and take off the wings either. She can sit a little bit and make that brush to the top. So I think Dex can see where everything is kind of shaken out early on and then make that one move with her.
There's a look at the 10, though. What a bit Hanover. Gabe, who you have interest in, driver, trainer, Oka Svanstedt, owner as well, as is often the case. He has his hands all over this horse.
And I'll tell you how much he likes his filly Acacia. He actually won one of the eliminations last week with the 5 Lady Landia. He opted to come back and drive What a Bit Hanover, who he shares ownership in both. He trains both horses. He opted to come back here and drive. Again, traffic trouble major in her last couple of starts. She could not get through it until very late down at the inside. Same story 2 starts back in Lexington where she was 3rd. I just think she's going to have a little bit of luck here when you've got the worst post, but I see a ton of early speed in this race. I think things could get very quick early. If so, that's going to tee things up for a potential closer. So again, my top pick here is the 10 What a Bit Hanover, in fact, and I just hope we continue with the double-digit price.
I think you will, because I just think that there's just a lot of money, as you said, with the Dexter factor and just the race that Luna Lovegood raced last week, that she's going to take, a lot of the money. There's a long shot, too, that I'm kind of interested in. It's the 2 Delaney Hanover, and I thought that the home cooking for this horse made her wake up a little bit, getting back to the Big M. And it did help last week because I feel like she left with a lot of intent in that race. And while she did clear to the half and she didn't win, I thought it was a solid effort. She draws well again to be able to just set herself up to get a piece of this.
Yeah, I think so as well. And the horse that beat her sat right on her back, so she had a perfect trip. It was interesting that trainer Lucas Waldhoff made all those equipment changes that I mentioned at the post parade. Typically when a horse comes off a good performance, again, she was second, beating just 3/4 of a length last out, you probably think things are looking pretty good going into the final. So he thinks, in my mind, there's still a little more there. He's making these last-second adjustments here heading into the big money final tonight. I found that interesting as well.
And the one thing with Lucas Wallen, too, is he takes his time with his horses. And a lot of times some of them get better as we get closer to the end of the year when the big money's on the line.
And I saw a quote from him as well that really they were working backwards from the Breeders' Crown, which certainly makes sense in some of the lighter schedule that she might have had. But he also thought that the wind was a big player in her defeat last week.
Yeah, it was. That was the afternoon card we had here, and as we talked about it many times in the show, the track was playing odd. It seemed to be playing different at different times of the day. So I'm even having a tough time digesting some of those results we've seen. So I wouldn't argue with trainer Lucas Wallen that could be the case as well. Wouldn't expect for me to see her bounce back here. Guys, overall, though, looking at this race, I just think it's way too deep of a field to take a horse 3 to 5. I don't think anyone stands out that much. I wouldn't want that type of price in anyone here. Top to bottom, very deep, very good group. I think Trip is going to determine a lot of the outcome.
3 to 5, a very short price right now on Luna Lovegood. She was that impressive winner of the elimination round last week, though. But Gabe, quickly, as you often talk about with the Trip, well, we'll talk a little bit more about that after this race because they are moving towards the gate for our first Breeders' Crown race of the evening. It's the 2-year-old fillies trot. Breeders' Crown night 1. You're watching live coverage here on FS1 as we send it up to track announcer Ken Workington for the call.
Lovegood, impressive elimination winner at 9-2. The 3 Champagne Problems fresh off the bench there. 7 Miss Belmar taking 5-1 action. On gate for the 6th. Here they come. And they're off in the Breeders' Crown underway. Perfect Annie lift hard on the outside with Miss Belmar from the inside. And Lady Landia flashing speed there. Luna Lovegood looking for a spot on the cones in between horses. Sound Judgment cuts the corner on her as they head to the opening quarter. And Luna Lovegood went off stride. Luna Lovegood broke. Delaney Hanover is now 5th on the inside. Then it's Champagne Problem, 6th past the opening quarter, followed by Cadena and Spicy Nice and What a Bit Hanover back trotting after the miscue. Luna Lovegood at odds on 1-2. 28 soft opening quarter. Miss Belmar and Andrew McCarthy plants her up front. Miss Belmar leads the way. A Perfect Annie is in for that 2-hole ride as they continue across the backstretch. Lady Landia tracking from 3rd. Not a fast pace here. Sound Judgment a peak to the outside 4th. That one followed by Delaney Hanover on the inside 5th. Another 2 lengths to Champagne Problems who needs to get going. She tips into the 2-path followed by Cadena to her inside. Spicy Nice to the outside. And then it's Luna Lovegood next to last and now trailing What a Bit Hanover. Half was just 57-1. Miss Belmar looking to steal it. Miss Belmar, a Perfect Annie, stalks her all the way as they continue around that far turn. Delaney Hanover grinding her way up into 3rd on the outside, 1st over. Lady Landia stayed in 4th. To the outside, that Champagne Problems who needs to get going, but she's spinning her wheels. Sound Judgment needs to shake loose out of traffic as they turn for home. And Cadena tips to the outside, 125-4. They're in the stretch of the Breeders' Crown. Miss Belmar by 2.5 has some separation. But here comes Lady Landia on the outside. Elimination winner trying to track her down. Miss Belmar digs in. It's Lady Landia and James McDonald right by. Lady Landia, 12-1 upsetter. Lady Landia, a Breeders' Crown champion. Then Miss Belmar, Sound Judgment, and What a Bit Hanover in 153-3.
Lady Landia gets the win, dismissed a little bit today after winning her elimination round last week. But I think, Gabe, the biggest story here in this race, taking nothing away from your winner, but your favorite, Luna Lovegood, breaking stride very early on.
Yeah, and a very odd miscue. It's uncharacteristic. We've only seen her do that one time in her entire life, and that was when she was interfered with. But you'll see right off the gate here, Acacia, it looked like Dexter wasn't trying to gun her completely hard off the gate. He saw a couple leaving to the outside. I think he wanted that dust to settle, and that he was going to go on and brush to the lead. He wanted to be last to the lead, so to speak. So as he's grabbing her up there, she just makes a mistake. These are 2-year-olds. That was only her 8th career start. She's learning how to race. She picked a very unfortunate time here tonight with $700,000 on the line. She actually worked herself back into contention. There you can see at the top of the stretch, but you just can't spot a group like this, double digits, and expect to have any success.
It's crazy when you look at it, too, because, take, for instance, just the winner, too. I mean, Lady Landia just sat a perfect trip inside. And it was almost a repeat of what happened last week for her, too, except Deja Vu broke in front of her. Just taking her back seemed to help a little bit in here. Boy, she powered on late. And Gabe, your horse came running late, too, on the outside.
She was very good, but I'll tell you what changed the complexion of the race a little bit. I was disappointed that Luna Lovegood broke, because that would have made the pace to be that much faster. When she has to forge onto the front there, that tempo is going to be much better. It's going to allow my choice, 10 would have been Hanover, to get there a little closer. She did race very well, but we just had a little too much left to do. Guys, at the end of the day, trainer Oka Sponsted's going to pick up his 10th Breeders' Crown Trophy since arriving in the U.S. just 5 or 6 years back. It's his 3rd consecutive 2-year-old filly trot Breeders' Crown win. He had Special Way in 2022. He had Warwi Michelle, who we'll see tomorrow night in 2023. And now he's got Lady Landia here in 2024. Pretty impressive. He is a trotting specialist, as we know.
Just amazing. And 12-1, pulling a bit of an upset as well for the Svansted barn. Big celebrations taking place behind us in the winner's circle. We'll bring you prices, reactions, and more when we come back. And we'll also be joined by one of the best to ever do it. John Campbell, a harness legend, will be joining us on the set. He's even done the show with me before. He does it all. Coming up, John Campbell joining us, as well as more live action from night 1 of the Breeders' Crown.
Alaraj Farms, more than 3 decades of trendsetting and modern trotting. The birthplace of millionaires Fern, Muscles Marinara, Whiskey Tax, and Dewey Color in the Line. Alaraj Farms is home to broodmares such as Ice Attraction, Lucky Ava, Non-Stick, and 7 Times a Lady. Check out their lineup of 21 yearlings by sires such as Muscle Hill, Walner, Chimpanzee, Chapter 7, and the first crop of Captain Corey's selling this fall in Lexington. Find them online at alarajfarm.com or on Facebook.
Horse racing? Check. Weekly promotions? Got 'em. Huge payouts? You bet. With Naira Bets. Download the app today and bet on any track, anywhere, anytime with live HD horse races, betting tips and tutorials, expert picks, and more. You bet with Naira Bets. Join now for a new member bonus at nairabets.com.
The future is bright in Ohio. Ohio Sire Stakes, Buckeye Stallion Series, 66 county and independent fairs. Whether it's the Ohio Sire Stakes, the Buckeye Stallion Series, or the county fairs, Ohio has a place for your racehorse. This year, Ohio breds are racing for nearly $23 million in stakes purses. Be part of the winning. Breed, buy, race, win in Ohio.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races on FS1. Live coverage of night 1, live from Meadowlands, as we have the Breeders' Crown continuing in our first Breeders' Crown race of the night. The 2-year-old fillies trot, a bit of an upset as the number 5 Lady Landia, Gabe, gets the win. A little bit of a dramatic race here.
Yeah, it really was. Again, the complexion changed. fact, we saw a different dimension occasion from Miss Belmar. She's done all of her racing off the pace in her first four career starts. She just showed a different dimension here. She was able to lead the gate, raced well. She was actually well rated on the front end, but at the end of the day, couldn't fend off this stout close from Lady Landia.
And for trainer Oka Sponstead, his 10th Breeders' Crown victory, $26.20. Miss Belmar drifted up to 7-1. She took all that early money, and it was actually for good reason, Gabe, because she held on for second after setting the pace.
She really did. It got off a nice 7-1. Again, I thought that she was well rated. I thought she put in a very bold bid there in the front end, but for horses we saw open up, 6-5, 7-5. A good return there to place and show as well. When they pulled the shoes, as we said, sometimes they can take an aggressive shot. That's what happened. But just collared by a nice filly there in the late stages. I thought she raced extremely well and sound judgment. Another good trip there to round out the top three. And unfortunately, Acacia, my top pick would have been Hanover. Just a little too much to do there with a little bit of a slow pace up front. She raced well, but not well enough for those of us that backed her.
A little bit too much work at the end. It was 5-7, 110 in the 2-year-old fillies. Trot race 7 will be the 2-year-old fillies. Pace coming up next. Here's a look at the field, and looks good in Lulu, the favorite. No surprise. I thought it was interesting as trainer Ron Burke sends out 3 in this field, and he said that looks good in Lulu was arguably the best pacing filly he's ever trained.
And by the way, he's had some good ones as well. In fact, she is the co-fastest 2-year-old pacing filly in the history of harness racing by virtue of her 148-3 win back on October the 4th out in Lexington at the Red Mile. She shares that mark with a former stablemate, World Wee Butte, who raced for the Burke Barn. So, to put her in that type of company, he said, she's the best filly I've trained down. She seems to have 3 lungs, and she's just perfect. So to hear those words from trainer Ron Burke, he's trained the winner of this event a couple of times. World Wee Butte, the horse I just mentioned, was the winner of the 2-year-old filly pace in 2018. Trained the winner of the 2017 2-year-old filly pace, You Are My Candy Girl. So for those words to come out of trainer Ron Burke's mouth, really eye-opening, and I'm excited to see her back tonight.
Well, as far as the 2-year-old filly trotters are concerned, Lady Landia giving driver James McDonald a big win tonight. He's standing by with Jessica.
Thanks, Acacia. Lady Landia takes the first Breeders' Crown final, your first Breeders' Crown victory. How does it feel?
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah, just it's been a lot of years grinding away in the Breeders' Crowns, and I haven't had a whole lot of luck in them, but it was really nice to get that right off the bat and hopefully kick off to a big weekend.
You've picked up a couple of live ones for Aki. What did he tell you about this filly coming into the race?
He never usually says a whole lot. He just said she can leave good, and you have to steady her a bit, and he was right. She was just a true pro, and I was licking my chops the whole way. She felt so good, and then as soon as I edged her off Todd's back, she just exploded, and I had a pretty good. I didn't know what was coming behind me, but I had a pretty good idea. I had the leaders, and I was just really fortunate to pick up that drive for Team Sponstead.
The complexion of the race changed a bit there when Luna Lovegood went off stride. What was going through your head in that first turn?
Yeah, I didn't know she had made a break. Being first out, it was hard for me to see, but I was expecting to get away fourth when Todd and Andy kept pushing, and I figured Dex would come, and when he didn't, I thought maybe something had happened. It was just a whirlwind of emotions the whole way. The horse felt so good, but I'm just really happy, really proud to get my first Breeders' Crown.
Nice job, and best luck the rest of the weekend.
Thanks, Jess.
There you have it. Lady Landia takes a 2-year-old filly trot Breeders' Crown final. Back to you guys.
Jessica, thank you, and congratulations to James's first Breeders' Crown win. But joining us on set, somebody who is no stranger to Breeders' Crown victories, John Campbell, President and CEO of the Hambletonian Society. John, welcome. How does it feel being back here tonight on Breeders' Crown night?
Well, thank you for having me on first, but it's always great for Breeders' Crown night for me. I mean, obviously I was a participant for quite a while, but being in the position I have now, just seeing these races that were put together and all the, competitive events that we have coming up, it's really exciting. And certainly we got a great kickoff with Lady Landia winning, paying $26. Certainly an upset there, and unfortunate for the favorite making a break in the first turn, but that happens, especially with 2-year-old trotters.
Well, do me a favor, hold that mic right up close so people can
Okay.
hear. We're getting him on this side, Gabe. As you said, John has actually had a little bit more experience on the set than even you have, having done the show with me. He's a multi-talented man here.
Yeah, typically I'm the one roaming around. I know John was in the studio the one night, but it's great to have, of course, John. And I know that all of your success.
No, I don't remember all of them. There's a few that stick out, but remembering all of them would be a little hard.
And what about, speaking of 2-year-olds tonight? I know one of the biggest ones you had to have was down in South Florida, 2-year-old with arts.
I just drive some of the all-time greats. I'm looking back on Macalo Bell won 3 of them, Miss Easy won a couple of them, Arts Place. It's some of the all-time greats I was fortunate enough to sit behind.
We're taking a look back at Arts Place in the 1992 Breeders' Crown Open Pace. Take us back through this trip, John.
It was an easy trip for me. He was so good that night. Arts Place was a funny horse. Some nights he'd be really, really good, and other nights he'd kind of take the night off, and you had to make him do his work. Just a fantastic horse, and went on to be one of the all-time great sires in our sport, but just a pleasure to drive a horse like that. I drove him throughout 3 years of his career, and I just nothing but great memories of sitting right there like that.
Yeah, that's a pretty good memory. When wish they were all that easy, I'm sure, as you do as
Yeah.
well, John. You put together a streak that really is mind-blowing to me because from 1984 to 1998, still in the history of this series, you're the only guy that won 15 consecutive years. You won a Breeders' Crown Final, and I don't think anyone's ever come close to that. By the way, in 1999, I think you didn't win, but you were still the leading money-winning driver, so that had to be a pretty cool year as well.
Yeah, I guess so. I wasn't aware of that I missed out, but I must have had a bunch of seconds and thirds. And the Breeders' Crown was just something that you were always looking forward to, even when the year started. You were trying to line up your horses to have, you wanted to have one in each division and try and have a horse that was fresh enough. Very difficult to do for the trainers to keep them, that much in form and, just kind of, you didn't want to race them too hard, but you're racing for a lot of money throughout the year. So it was something that was always in the back of your mind, even at the beginning of the year. And once you went to the jug, then you're thinking, I got to line up some Breeders' Crown horses.
And talk to us about the pressure, obviously on the sport's biggest stage and some of these signature and premier events. You get one chance. If something does go wrong, or if if everything can go right. But you really just have to have a horse, as you said, that's fresh, where everything goes right at the right time. There are no second chances here on a night like tonight.
No, especially when you're dealing with the colts. Impact on their stud career, whether they could win a Breeders' Crown. So there was a lot of pressure with that. And I was fortunate enough to drive a lot of favorites, but I always said I'd rather have a horse 3 to 5 than 20 to 1. And so that part of it was, it is kind of a one-shot deal. If you mess up, there's no next week.
Well, John, we're so grateful to you for taking some time to join us this evening. We know you're a very busy man, but it really is a pleasure to get a chance to chat with you. And thank you very much for sharing some of your expertise, and see if anybody can continue to get a little bit closer to that record.
Well, I'm sure somebody will someday. That's just the way things work. But thanks so much for having me, and thanks for all you do with the show. It's a great exposure for harness racing, and I'm a big fan and watch all the shows. So good luck the rest of the weekend.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate that, and hope to have you back on the set with us someday soon. John Campbell, one of the best to ever do it in the sport of harness racing. When we come back, it's time for the Breeders' Crown 2-year-old fillies pace. Theirs looks good in Lulu. She looks good in the winner's circle. See if she can get there tonight.
My grandfather instilled in me that there's no such thing as luck. He said luck is where hard work meets opportunity.
You're watching America's Day at the Races as we have the 6th race coming up. So much excitement tonight. I'm all over the place. Race 7 coming up. The 2-year-old fillies pace, and there is Looks Good in Lulu. Paul, can she continue the streak that she's been on?
First of the 3 for the Burke Brigade. Set that track record last week in the Elim.
Here's Duration. Big price on the board.
Just missed last time by a half length. The last Martini followed her up, got her late, but thought a good effort.
Millie Mae Hanover still searching for that first win.
Yeah, but she ran well enough last week to snag a spot in the final. That's what you got to do. Get in.
What happened last week to the number 4 Rose?
That's a very good question. She was 1-5. She tried the front end. She faltered late. Who knows? A little bit of a mystery. 1-5 in the elimination. 8-1 tonight.
Giggling on the beach. Big price went by. Here's the 6th, the last Martini.
Elimination winner. Rallied off cover. Thought she raced very well. That's the main reason driver Doug McNair is in town.
Here's Can't See Me.
You know, she's had a useful season up at Woodbine. She's going to need to get a bit faster to compete for a crown.
Unreasonable, trying to turn the tables.
Going to need a lively tempo. She does kick home very well, but it won't be easy tonight from way out there.
Mickey and Minnie, a player.
I thought she ran well last week. I mean, you know, the trip just didn't work out. She got passed late.
And the final entrant for the Burke Brigade, Rodeo Drive Deo.
Third starter for the sport's all-time leading trader, Ron Burke. And just missing her elimination to Looks Good in Lulu, who's 1-2 on the board right now. To get it just might be a tall order from that outside post. But first or second, 6 of 10 to begin her career. She's banked well over $150,000.
She was second to her stablemate Looks Good in Lulu in the elimination last week. Trainer Ron Burke said everyone else was surprised, but we weren't.
Yeah, she's very good runner up there, and she actually got the chance to follow. Looks Good in Lulu. You know, I thought for a moment she may be able to collar, but, you know, just came up a short second, half a length. I thought she raced well. We're going to take a look back at that elimination. And actually, the first thing you're going to notice is Mickey and Minnie, who's the 9-horse in here. She's going to take over the lead at the top of the stretch, guys. She comes out of the pocket there. She's going to pounce on the pacemaker. That teed up Looks Good in Lulu against Standardbreds by nature. They like to draft. You see Looks Good in Lulu drafting along there. Finally, she's going to show her hand, so to speak, as she tips out there down the center. That's her stablemate, Rodeo Drive Deo, up at the far outside. So as Mickey and Minnie gives way, Paul off. A bit of a tough trip there. She was used hard. That's Looks Good in Lulu took over. Rodeo Drive Deo closing late there, the extreme outside.
Yeah, and made it look easy, too. And, you know, the case being made for Mickey and Minnie, too, is I think today she's going to get cover and she'll get a better result tonight for sure. I think the trip last time is what really hurt her.
Race 7, the 2-year-old fillies pace coming up just 2-5 on Looks Good in Lulu as she tries to extend that streak.
Yeah, after last week's performance, track record performance. Nonetheless, I'm going to try and beat the favorite here. I really liked the way the last Martini race last week. I know she got a really nice trip, but, you know, she's been facing some really tough company. She was dismissed there a little bit in her elimination at 4-1. But if you go down her program pages, and you can attest to this if you watch any sort of harness racing, that She's a Great Lady, when she was second in her elimination and the final, she got beat what I think is probably one of the best 2-year-old pacing fillies in Chantilly. She's not eligible to the Breeders' Crown, so we're not going to see her this weekend. And she set up the fractions for her in that She's a Great Lady final from post 8. She got a bit hot on the front end there, just got simply tired, and that's when Chantilly got her in the She's a Great Lady. This is the first time she raced over the Meadowlands Oval last week. I thought it was perfect. She gets to start from post 6 once again. She raced home 26-2. I know it was a good trip. I think that's going to work to her favor again tonight. I think post 6 is going to give Dougie plenty of options, but I think her ability to be versatile in here is going to really help her. As for, looks like a Lulu getting the rail, I think it could be maybe a little bit tricky for her to get away from the gate. But I'm going to stick with the last Martini on top. 7-1 for Doug McNair and trainer Jared Bako. Back to you guys.
Jess, thank you. The last Martini, a nice price. And Paul, you have interest in this horse as well.
Yeah, I agree completely with Jess. And she's been a different animal when she hasn't been around Chantilly. We know how good she is, just can't run in the Breeders' Crown. I just liked the way last week she lunged late to collar Duration. So I think she's a horse that's improving at the right time, and this is her moment. So if she can work out a really good trip in here and get that same kind of action in front, she's going to be hurt from late.
Yeah, I think she needs to be teed up. I think you guys are right. I don't blame you for taking a shot at 7-1, but never, bump anyone off that type of price. But, she had missed a month into that last start, too, so she's fresh. She had a little time off, and that can be the case here, particularly for some of the just a little bit tripped.
Won her each of her last two in world record time, 2 back. She's 4 for 7 on the season. Again, one of 3 in the field for trainer Ron Burke. Starting gate rolling for the Breeders' Crown Final. 2-year-old filly pacers. Back up to Ken.
Sugar Valley Farms warm-up complete. It's post-time preferred equine starting gate rolling for the field of 10. For $700,000, a Breeders' Crown Final 2-year-old filly pacers, sponsored by Sugar Valley Farms and Deo Valente Farms. 3 to 5 on the 1. The world champion and track record holder looks good in Lulu. Fillies on gate, 7th race. Here they come. They're off. Mickey and Minnie trying to blast off on the far outside. The last Martini and Rose with Duration on the inside, flashing speed, and looks good in Lulu. The big favorite on the rail into the first turn. It's Rose. Rose takes the lead into the first turn. Duration going to settle for the pocket spot early. And driving up is the last Martini from third. Looks good in Lulu. Fourth on the inside. Mickey and Minnie is 5th past the opening quarter. Then comes Millie May Hanover, Rodeo, Drive Deo, and Giggling on the Beach. And trailing at the back there is Unreasonable, stride for stride with Can't See Me. 27-2 as they race across the back stretch, and looks good in Lulu, makes her move to the front for Yannick Gingras. The last Martini under a big rain there with Doug McNair had her revved up in second now. Rose is back to third, and here comes Dexter Dunn and Mickey and Minnie first up on the outside. A live toe for Rodeo, Drive Deo. A shuffle for Duration on the inside. Into the flow, Giggling on the Beach is third over. Fourth over is Unreasonable, stride for stride with Millie May Hanover. Can't See Me is the trailer. That half up was 55 and 428-2. And the target is Looks Good in Lulu. Heavy pressure from Mickey and Minnie on the outside, second and threatening. The last Martini. Doug McNair has a lap full there in the pocket spot and is locked in right now. Rodeo, Drive Deo setting it up from third over. Looking for racing room is Rose on the inside. They turn home off 3/4 in 1:24. Looks Good in Lulu, and on the outside, Mickey and Minnie is gigantic first over. Steamrolls to the top for Dexter Dunn. Mickey and Minnie drawing clear from Looks Good in Lulu. Mickey and Minnie, a Breeders' Crown champion over the last Martini. Then Rodeo, Drive Deo, and Looks Good in Lulu in 1:50-2.
Another upset, a little bit less of an upset in this race, but it's Mickey and Minnie at 5-1. And Gabe, we said Dexter Dunn was going to have a big night, and it kicks off here.
Yeah, and this one could have been one of the horses that you could have overlooked a little bit if you had to. One of Dexter's 5-1. I think the off price here for Mickey and Minnie as he teams up with trainer Chris Ryder. Of course, they'll send potential horse of the year to the post tomorrow night, Twinbee Joe Fresh. They teamed up to win this event in 2021 with Nikki Hill. But guys, this horse was out a long way to sustain this move. She was uncovered. She was unable to draft off another horse. She was in the 2 paths. She's doing more work. She's traveling a further distance. So to wear down the favorite there, Looks Good in Lulu, I thought very, very impressive.
She took in a lot of air being outside that entire trip. I mean, heads up to Dexter Dunn, though, for getting her into the race as well. And see, and this is where I want to be. I don't want to be following somebody into this race. And, you know, when you look at this race, I thought she ran well, and I thought the last Martini ran exceptional because Doug McNair.
You'll find some room late. Well, this night just not Looks Good in Lulu's best night. She actually faltered there pretty early in the stretch drive. That was to the detriment of the last Martini, but ultimately did get to shake loose, but it was just too late there from a gutsy effort from Mickey and Minnie.
The last Martini will have to settle for second, but Mickey and Minnie victorious here in the 2-year-old filly's pace as she gets back to the winner's circle in a big way. A nice effort here by Mickey and Minnie to get the win, and also a little bit of different tactics than what we saw from her in the elimination round last week.
Yeah, you know, and I just think that was kind of a little bit by design, too. I think nobody really left too aggressively to the top, and Doug McNair just said, all right, I'm going to go find a spot. And, he was stretched out a little bit, but he was able to find that pocket position, and that was just a perfect spot to be in. It's just that the favorite didn't really take off in the lane.
The thing is, I think with Dex and Mickey and Minnie here, he knew from post 9, if he was going to leave and try to make the lead, he was going to have to roll. And to really take a lot out of Mickey and Minnie, he took the more patient approach here. Last week, he did try to gut her out, make the lead there briefly before he, tried to move again late. So I think he took more of a patient approach tonight. He let those levers there settle, decided just to stay on the outside, and ultimately it was a winning move. He wore him down late, but this is not an easy move to make, to stay out that long and really work uncovered against a very good filly on the front end there. I'm really very impressed.
What is your opinion on Looks Good in Lulu, as she's going to have to settle for 4th today? What do you take from that with her moving forward?
I just think, obviously horses aren't machines, and she just didn't come with her fastball working tonight. It was a very good rating at the front end, Paul, from driver Yannick Gingras. She had to work a little bit to make the lead there. She cleared past the 3/8. But, when you have horses of this caliber on a perfect night here, weather condition-wise, and you get to the half 55 and 4, you're down at 3/4 and 124. You would have thought she was almost invincible off those type of regional fractions, but she just didn't come here with her best punch tonight. One thing about it, guys, when you've got the Breeders' Crown Trophy on the line, the big money on the line, you have to be at your very best. You can't give up an inch, or it's not going to be your night.
No, and to be fair, in Yannick Gingras' case, you're on the odds-on favorite. You're on the best horse. You're going to put that horse in the best position to win. So he went right to the top, seeing that it was there. And there's nothing wrong with that, because as we say all the time, even on the thoroughbred side, if you're going to lose aggressively with your best effort. And I think that was, the best effort there by putting her on the front end.
I agree. And if, she really had her best effort, she came in very sharp, 2 consecutive wins. That would have been enough. I think it's just, she didn't show up. She wasn't the same filly we've seen throughout the course of the season. And we see that sometimes here late in the year, when they had several starts under their belt.
Mickey and Minnie with the win at 5-1, a mild upset. Your heavy favorite, Looks Good in Lulu, has to settle for 4th. When we come back, it'll be the 2-year-old colts and geldings and their turn. An emoticon legacy, he's bred for this. Literally, his damn emoticon Hanover, a 2-time Breeders' Crown winner, as he truly does look to keep that legacy alive.
In Indiana, we grow it. And when it comes to harness racing, the Indiana program has grown to become one of North America's very best. Breed Development and the ISA have been there every step of the way by overseeing and promoting the Indiana sired racing, breeding, and stakes programs at every level. We're working to ensure a bright future for all of us.
It's time for Green to get it on. Green Manalishi, whose first crop of 2-year-olds hit the track in 2024. The son of 2009 Horse of the Year Muscle Hill was a millionaire Major League Stake star who went wire to wire in the Canadian Trotting Classic. And Green Manalishi was prolific in the breeding shed. Get in on the ground floor, then head to the penthouse with your own green machine. I can't miss Green Manalishi. Book your mare today to Green Manalishi, standing at Terra Hill Stud in Ontario. Champions are made on the racetrack, but many of them are born, raised, and developed at farms right here in New Jersey. New Jersey is home to nearly 100,000 acres devoted to the horse industry, and harness racing's breeding and training facilities play a vital role in protecting open space and supporting agriculture throughout the Garden State. With the state's ongoing recognition of the importance and value of the standardbred industry, New Jersey will remain a place where champions are made. To learn more, visit sboanj.com.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.
You're watching live coverage of the Breeders' Crown. Our coverage brought to you by the Standardbred Breeders Association of Pennsylvania. In the 2-year-old fillies pace, another upset. This one, Mickey and Minnie with the victory, doing it dominantly, and Paul really putting forth a strong effort in here with that trip that we talked about.
Yeah, especially having to come first over and just grind it out, you know. And I thought she ran exceptionally well. And it's not like she hadn't run well prior to that, because before the elimination race, she had reeled off 4 straight wins. So she was coming in hot. She had that elimination effort. Now in the final, she put it all together for the big money.
Mickey and Minnie with the victory. Dexter Dunn winning driver. Talked about his Breeders' Crown record earlier today. Mickey and Minnie delivering 13:60 the last Martini, a tough trip. And Rodeo Drive Deo, I think we kind of missed out talking about her, but she checks in third, one that she raced very well last time out in the elimination, and she got another big performance today.
You know, it was funny, in her elim, she rallied 3 wide in there and was coming late, and she basically worked out the same kind of trip from post number 10 and came late.
Mickey and Minnie with the victory here in the 2-year-old fillies pace, as winning trainer Chris Ryder standing by with Jessica.
Thanks, Acacia. Mickey and Minnie get the job done in the 2-year-old filly pace Breeders' Crown final. I have winning trainer Chris Ryder. Chris, you've been high on this filly all year long. I know you were upset about post 9. What a performance tonight.
Fantastic. So proud of her. Dexter got a good spot the first turn. I thought I liked this. And then she was first up, obviously. And I've always said she got a great set of lungs, and she's just a beautiful attitude filly, great gaited, and she put it together tonight. And didn't really surprise me because, yeah, she's very, very good. Yeah.
Talk about the durability she had just to be first over for that long.
Yeah, well, I got to watch the replay again, but how long was it? From before the half, right? Yeah, I'm a little exhilarated, yes.
And nice to get it done with Dexter.
Fantastic with Dexter. His father's here up from New Zealand, RJ, and I hear they're coming down the stretch, so it's fantastic. Yeah.
Congratulations, Chris. Go enjoy it. And best of luck the rest of the weekend.
Yes, thanks a lot, Jess.
Mickey and Minnie get the job done post 9 in the 2-year-old filly pace Breeders' Crown final. Back to you guys.
Mickey and Minnie with the win. Jessica, thank you. A big weekend for trainer Chris Ryder, but I'm sure this a special victory, as it always is with the 2-year-olds. You know that there's a big future coming up.
Yeah, and especially when you know you've got some bigger things to come later on. It's always nice when you have one in early that gets you that win early, so it gives a little momentum to the barn.
Of course, Chris, the trainer of Twin B Joe Fresh, the heavy favorite for tomorrow's Open Mares final. Here's a look at the field for race 8. It's time for the boys now, as we see the 2-year-old colts and gelding in this 1-mile trot coming up. It's Super Chapter right now that's the favorite, but Emoticon Legacy, as we touched on before the break, truly bred for this, regally bred and out of Emoticon Hanover, a 2-time Breeders' Crown victor.
And I think the great thing about this horse, too, when you watch these races back, is not only were they great on the track, but then you fast forward ahead and you see their prodigy. You're like, oh my God, they run just as well, you know? And I think there's some pride in that. We talk about Breeders' Crown being a big event for horses, just even bigger for the breeders, you know, that have these kind of horses, and to be able to continue on and progress with them and go through all the motions and paces. I mean, she was a special horse, and she's got some special horses running tonight and tomorrow as well.
Yeah, pretty incredible to see that legacy continuing. I think Emoticon Legacy, very well named given his pedigree, as we do see that 2018 Breeders' Crown Mare Trot with Emoticon Hanover victorious there. As we take a look at her 2-year-old son by Walner, Emoticon Legacy winning the elimination last week. What were your thoughts on this performance?
You know, so the cool thing about this race, when you take a look back and you watch it, is from a standpoint of Emoticon Legacy, you know, got that nice, perfect ride, and when the pylons open, came right through, which is what you want to see. Horse got through there, no problems. And, you know, there's still a little greenness there when you watch this horse run, you know, if they let him on top early. So I think the pocketing up really benefited this horse last week. Give him some cover, give him someone to follow, you know, and it kind of bravened him up, and he ran exceptionally well in there.
Driver Louis Ross saying that he felt he was a little bit aggressive early on in the race, a little bit green as well. And that's the case with 2-year-olds, just kind of as we saw with a favorite breaking stride earlier on. They're still making some mistakes at this point. They're still kind of figuring out what this whole racing thing is about.
It's all learning on the job, right? So they're going to get into a pack, they're going to get revved up, and they're going to try and, they're on the muscle too, just as much as the driver's trying to hold back a little bit, calm them down. Sometimes they have a mind of their own, and we've seen that with some of these horses in the Olympics, and especially 2-year-olds. And when one acts up, some others start to act up as well.
That's what I said. They're like Christmas lights. One goes out, they all go out. You might have noticed that Gabe off the set. He's going to be reporting. Don't worry, he has not left us tonight. We will still have Gabe's insight throughout the evening. Can Twin B Joe Fresh seal Horse of the Year? And he would argue she already is the Horse of the Year, but she just looks to finish this fairy tale season with a Breeders' Crown victory tomorrow night. More on her story after this.
We've had a wonderful breeding program here for years.
Pennsylvania has an excellent program. The proof of that is Harrisburg in November. That's a major event for Pennsylvania. We bring in some 6,000 individuals from all over the world. They want to buy Pennsylvania breds.
This is where the top stallions are. A lot of the top mares are here, and between the 3 major tracks here in Pennsylvania, it's perfect.
Pennsylvania has always been at the forefront, and we want to keep it there.
You're watching America's Day at the Races, or should we say America's Evening at the Races. Lady Liberty watching over us as we are here live at the Meadowlands in East Rutherford, New Jersey, night 1 of the Breeders' Crown. And coming up, we have more on the 2-year-olds, but tomorrow the big story will be about Twin B Joe Fresh, the horse who will likely be named Horse of the Year. She's brought people together in a lot of ways throughout her career, but for her connections, this journey has really been a full circle moment.
Pinch yourself, really. I mean, the riders in my family go back many, many years, and I couldn't have done what I've done being over here without Chris and Nicola and the riders. So they're like family to me, and I call CJ my American dad, which he is. So obviously to have own Twin B Joe Fresh with CJ's just a massive thrill. I think it's a ride that we're thoroughly enjoying, and I think anything with her from now on is a bonus.
Well, it's been a terrific relationship. My wife and I moved here in '89 when he was born, we'd go back home and visit his mum and dad, and he'd be a little fellow with colours on and a whip, chasing horses on the TV. So it's been a terrific relationship. I was best friends with his father many years ago when I was a teenager, and we've known each other ever since. Our grandparents knew each other. So, you know, like Dexter says, we're basically family, so it's been great.
Twin B Joe Fresh. She couldn't have possibly been any more impressive here.
Chris loved her from basically day one, and I sat behind her here at the farm before she started qualifying as a 2-year-old, and she always gave you a great feel. We had a great 2-year-old year. Got turned out, come back as a 3-year-old. She got better from a 2-year-old year and had a great 3-year-old year. And, it's hard to probably imagine she could get much better from 3 to 4, but she really did, Jess. She got stronger, but I think it's a mentality too. She's so intelligent.
Well, first of all, she's as good as any of them that I've had, but she's still around as a 4-year-old, and we expect her to be around next year. She's just such a great horse, we can't really tell you why. She's just born that way, and we're blessed to have her, and long may it continue. So
she's a dream to drive, but just ability to finish miles off this season has been its biggest attribute. Like I said, she's intelligent. She knows what she's doing out there, and really a pleasure to drive. Obviously, owning a piece in her is give us all a massive thrill too. It's something you really dream of owning a part of a horse like her, and for her to come along, it's really been a dream ride for us.
I understand it's all riding on this race. It's the Breeders' Crown. Basically, we have to win. I understand that, and I admit it. We have to win this race, so we're just going to win it.
Trainer Chris Ryder already with the Breeders' Crown victory tonight, but he's got the big one waiting in the wings for tomorrow, Paul, as we take a look at the Hamiltonian Breeders' Crown Standardbred poll, and Twin B Joe Fresh has been in that #1 spot for quite some time.
I think it's about 4 months now, Acacia. Like, it's been steady where she has been at the top. And what I love about this horse is not only this year, because you can pick apart all of her stakes races this year that she's won, Dayton Derby, Milton, others, and say, yeah, she's run great. But last year, she won a ton of races last year too. She went 11 for 17 last year. So, for me, I think that she is the #1 horse, period, horse of the year. It's hers to lose tomorrow night.
Do you think, given her season, if she gets beat tomorrow, that she's not horse of the year?
It's interesting. I think there's probably a scenario or two where that might play out depending on the voting. But I have to tell you, though, we'll know later on tomorrow, maybe about 10:40-ish, what the story is there. I really think, though, even when you look at last week, some people were like, oh, last week was a little tough for her. She had post 10 last week. She got beat by a horse, Grace Hill, who's a former champion. Breeders' Crown won herself. So I don't hold it against her. She's got post 5 tomorrow. It's all systems go. Get the job done.
She's going to be the heavy favorite in that open mare pace post time around 10:38, as Paul mentioned. After that, we'll know where she stands as far as that horse of the year conversation is concerned. Back to today with the 2-year-olds as the Breeders' Crown action continues. Here in the 8th, it's time for the boys. The 2-year-old colts and geldings coming up as Go Dog Go, the #7, taking some attention at 5-1. Jess is standing by with his trainer, Carter Pinsky.
Thanks, guys. Carter, Go Dog Go has just been a little bit frustrating at times.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a horse that has just a phenomenal amount of speed, but he's it's not all up in his head yet. There, he hasn't fully decided to be a racehorse, but he's been frustrating. But the main thing is we know there's speed in there, so hopefully we have a little luck here.
Yeah, in the trotting hobbles in that elimination, what were your impressions on his elimination?
I told Toddy, I said, he's been a little warm. We struggled, staying on stride. I said, we just need a race for luck. Let's miss the gate, take a shot. We think he can sprint home just as much or better than the rest of the field. So, we took a shot, took him back, and I was very tickled with him. He didn't put any bumps in, no steps, and he trotted home, as good as a horse can trot home.
What other changes did you make to him?
I kind of re-rigged the whole horse. He's a fussy horse, funny with his head, funny with his mouth, not a huge fan of dirt. So, I put an ear hood on, changed his bit, added a little weight up front, and we put the hobbles on. And, just tried to give him a bit more work, change his routine a little bit, and, hopefully with the workload and quiet him down a little bit. So, hopefully it's all coming together for him.
Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Jess, thank you. We'll see if Go Dog Go can put it all together. But Paul meeting the rest of the field, kicking things off at the one, Meshuggah.
Used speed last time. I don't think it was a bad effort for the first time on a big track.
Maryland, the favorite, no surprise.
Yeah, tale of two different horses before August 21st and after.
Maximus Miras.
Thought he did a good job. He was really professional last week in that Elim win.
Regally bred Emoticon Legacy.
Came right on through with that pylon skim and ride, which I'd like to see. It was a nice effort pulling away late. Still going to take care of that greenness, though, a little bit.
Still figuring things out. Here is the 5 Hidalgo.
I thought he's run well. He just hasn't sealed the deal against some of the bigger named horses. But I catch a piece of this at 32-1.
Super Chapter was right behind Maximus Miras in that Elim.
Yeah, I think the good news is that you're not going to get 1-2 today. You're going to get 5-1 if you like him. His best weapon's always been his ability to be forward early.
5-1 on Super Chapter. He's somewhere out there. There he is.
Look at that handsome guy. There he is. He's ready to play tonight.
Ears pricked. Warming up out on the track, Super Chapter, David Miller in the bike. As coming up next will be the 7 Go Dog Go. We just heard from his trainer, Carter Pinsky, and some of his quirks.
Yeah, you know what? And I really liked that last week he minded his manners, came home in 26-4. It was nice to see.
There's the 8 Blank.
Talk about horses that outrun their odds. 99-1 last week, no problem. Rode the inside, finished third, got in.
Maybe trying to hit the board tonight at 49-1. Another big prize. Here's Tactical Dynasty.
Yeah, I kind of feel like he's going backwards instead of forward, and it's not a good sign when you do that now. So he's got post 9 tonight.
Outside post for the 10, Memento Mori.
Got a closing style in here, Acacia, that is suited to pick up the pieces, and we've seen some horses from post 10 already make their moves and come on late. So he's going to have to tow along, find a helmet, make some run late.
That's the field for the 8, the 2-year-old colts and geldings trotting here as Gabe and Jessica trackside with us now. Guys, can anybody get around your current even money favorite, Maryland?
Well, I put Maryland on top, but I know Gabe really likes Go Dog Go, and rightfully so, Gabe. We've seen this guy have so much speed, so much ability. It's just a matter of putting it all together.
Yeah, it really is. A bit of a project horse. You caught up there with trainer Carter Pinsky, but as Carter said, the talent is there, so that's no problem at all. I think that, if they can just get him on track here at the right time late in the year, that it could be a big night for him. And he's up there at a good price. I think, we've seen the favorites 0 for 2 so far, Jess, so I just wanted to take a swing with a little bit of a price.
And what were your impressions on that elimination race?
With Go Dog Go, I thought he finished up very nicely. I thought that's exactly what you would want, when you're making an equipment change of that order. I think they were very cautious with him. The problem is he's going to need a little bit of a lively tempo here. I don't think he's a horse that you could really blast out of the gate. I think that you're going to want to track, and hopefully that trip sets up nicely.
Maryland is a horse who's been super sharp this season. 4 wins from 7 starts. Your Wellwood winner, your Peter Howland winner, the Mohawk Million winner, got the buy into the final. A good qualifier last week. Post 2, Dexter Dunn, all systems go.
Yeah, I think so. And for a 32-year-old Marcus Melander, the trainer of the 2 Maryland, a 1 of 4 that he has here the final. He's got the 1, 2, 6, and 8. So originally from Stockholm, Sweden. He's done a great job since arriving stateside. He actually won the 2-year-old colt trot with Chimpanzee back in 2018, the first of his 3 Breeders' Crown Championships. Maryland is a talented colt. No, he has not raced since September the 21st. So I was a little shocked that the connections opted to take a bye. But the pedigree is there, Jess. He was a $475,000 yearling last fall. He's the first foal from a dam that made over $500,000. Again, I just think, obviously, the credentials are big here, but I just don't think it's the type of field where I want to side up on anyone at even money, but he is the horse to beat.
Speaking of royally bred, the 4, Emoticon Legacy. This is out of the great race mare, Emoticon Hanover by Wallner, and he was very impressive in his Breeders' Crown elimination after sitting in the pocket.
He really was, and did not have room until very late there, but when he did have room, he shot through like he was out of a cannon there. Interestingly enough, Jess, we'll see his sister, Drawn Impression. Yep. She'll be in the 3-year-old filly trot here tomorrow night. So same dam there. You said Emoticon out of her, double millionaire. Again, she has the 2-year-old in here, Emoticon Legacy, the 3-year-old filly Drawn Impression tomorrow. So she's got a good run here as we get set for post time.
Really looking forward to the 2-year-old colt and gelding. Breeders' Crown Trot. We'll send it back to you guys.
Jess and Gabe, thanks so much. Maryland currently even money, and as Gabe touched on, Paula, there are other cases that can be made in this spot, but as far as Maryland is concerned, another one who took the bye. Give us the lowdown on what took place with him and how he's coming in fresh.
So he's going to come in fresh off of his bye. I think it's interesting, though, in the case of Maryland, that he didn't run in anything prior to this. So they're going to come in fresh. They're going to come in with fresh legs. They're going to see if he can trip out. Listen, he's a tale of two horses for me, because before August 24th, he wasn't at the top echelon. After August 24th, though, the races that he won and piled up, including that Mohawk Million, where he got a little hot in that race, and credit to Dexter Dunn, took him back off the gate and made him actually, run well.
Quickly, the 6 Super Chapter, top pick for you?
Yep, backside brush last week, uncontestedly, got caught by Maximus Miras late. I think this horse will sit another good trip, put himself in the race early.
2-year-old colts and geldings trotting. You're watching the Breeders' Crown on FS1. Here's track announcer Ken Workington.
5-1. On gate race 8. Here they come. Two-year-olds off and trotting in the Breeders' Crown. Meshuggah made a break on the rail. Meshuggah's off stride. Maximus Miras in Maryland. Leaving sharply was Emoticon Legacy on the outside. Here comes Super Chapter up into 4th position in that first turn. Hidalgo is 5th by about 2 lengths. Then it's Go Dog Go, followed by Blank. Blank is followed by Tactical Dynasty, Memento Mori, and the early breaker, Meshuggah. 2 wide for the opening quarter. Here comes Super Chapter and Dave Miller to take over, 27-3. Super Chapter sails to the front across the back stretch. Maximus Miras pockets up for now, and anxious Emoticon Legacy tips to the outside. Louis Waugh makes his move for the lead. Maryland looks to track him with Dexter Dunn from 4th, the gap of 2 lengths to Hidalgo to the outside. Go Dog Go underway. Then comes Blank in a gap of 2 lengths to Tactical Dynasty and Memento Mori and Meshuggah. The half up in a rated 56 seconds, but now it's Maryland on the outside, takes the lead. Maryland and Go Dog Go applies immediate pressure with 3/8 to go. Emoticon Legacy already back to 3rd on the inside as they continue towards 3/4. That's Blank up 2nd over, setting up his rally. Super Chapter was shuffled to 5th on the inside. Hidalgo ranges up 3rd over on the outside. They're stride for stride. It's Maryland and Go Dog Go. Upset-minded Maryland digs in. 124-3 in the stretch of the Breeders' Crown. And Go Dog Go on the outside. Maryland digs in. These two slug it out. Emoticon Legacy in heavy traffic on the inside. Maximus Miras is closing hard in deep stretch. Maryland needs the line. Maryland and Dexter Dunn. Maryland. And then Maximus Miras and Go Dog Go. And Blank close there with Super Chapter. And Emoticon Legacy 151-4.
Maryland delivers as the favorite. Another Breeders' Crown victory tonight for Dexter Dunn. And my goodness, did he really dig in late.
I got to tell you, Dexter Dunn fits this horse like a glove and knows what to do with this horse. This horse wanted to get out and wanted to go. And Dexter just said, all right, we're going. Made it to the top. And I mean, this horse pinned his ears down and ran late to hold off Maximus Miras on the inside.
A late drive from Maximus Miras coming up the inside as well. Go Dog Go was right there. Looks like he was making a menacing move on the outside, but Maryland digging in. Now, the complexion of the race actually changed at the beginning with the one, Meshuggah, breaking stride right off the gate, and he would have been one that would be part of that early pace.
Yeah, I think he definitely would have been forward had it not been for the break. I think he just got a little bit strong going towards the gate, and when just kind of lost a little bit of stride, they recovered quickly to catch up to the back of the pack.
But no defeating the two. Maryland, as you said, he's been a different horse since August. Whatever changes have been made, whatever tactics have been used coming into this, he was fresh, and he really fought tonight. They made it exciting, these 2-year-olds.
Yeah, he's just got such a nice gait, too. When you look at his strides as he's coming to the wire, I mean, they are strong. And listen, you got to give some credit to the 7 Go Dog Go, because I thought Go Dog Go ran a really good race, got towed into the race second over it, and then really ended up being first over, throwing it down with Maryland.
As you heard Gabe mention, Trackside Maryland was a $475,000 purchase. He was already close to $800,000 in earnings coming into tonight. Now he wins a $700,000 Breeders' Crown race. I would say it's been worth the investment.
I would say so. And you look at this race and you think he's on his way to a 2-year-old championship after the last few efforts.
Trained by Marcus Melander, picks up the victory here. Maryland, Dexter Dunn getting his second Breeders' Crown victory of the evening. It felt like earlier on that Luna Lovegood might have been the first one, but so far we've seen Dexter with some big performances, Mickey and Minnie, and now Maryland delivering.
And the one cool thing about Dexter Dunn is when you watch him drive and you watch him, it doesn't matter the venue, it doesn't matter what the race was prior. Dexter still has that frame of mind that he's going out there and he gives exactly what that horse needs. It's amazing when you have years like that, that every button you push is the right button. That's Dexter Dunn right now. He's already got 2. He's got a real chance to make it to that 5 and beyond this weekend.
And he certainly does. Well, that is the 2-year-old Colts and Geldings Trotters. The kindergarten series coming up next with the 2-year-old fillies. Trainer Tony Alanya sending out a couple of entrants, and trainer Tony Alanya has been a staple in the game for quite some time, always putting the horse first. More on his story after this as we continue on America's Day at the Races.
We are athletes. We are drivers. We are caretakers. We are owners. We are trainers. We are fans. We are harness racing.
Horse racing? Check. Weekly promotions? Got 'em. Huge payouts? You bet. With Naira Bets. Download the app today and bet on any track, anywhere, anytime with live HD horse races, betting tips and tutorials, expert picks, and more. You bet with Naira Bets. Join now for a new member bonus at NairaBets.com.
Algarage Farms, more than 3 decades of trendsetting and modern trotting. The birthplace of millionaires Fern, Muscles Marinara, Whiskey Tax, and Dewey Color in the Line. Algarage Farms is home to broodmares such as Ice Attraction, Lucky Ava, Non-Stick, and 7 Times a Lady. Check out their lineup of 21 yearlings by sires such as Muscle Hill, Walner, Chimpanzee, Chapter 7, and the first crop of Captain Corey's selling this fall in Lexington. Find them online at algaragefarm.com or on Facebook.
We're back on America's Day at the Races, brought to you by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net today. It was Maryland who was victorious here in New Jersey in the 2-year-old Colts and Geldings Trot in the Breeders' Crown Final. Maryland incredibly game. As Gabe, what were your thoughts on this performance? As this horse really dug in, showing a lot of tenacity for a 2-year-old.
Yeah, I think so. And that backstretch blitz, guys, that we saw there, Maryland originally got away fourth in this race. That's not a great place to be. If you sit fourth, you're likely going to have to come first up. You're going to have to attack a horse in the lead, really taking a lot the worst of it. Dexter opted to put him in gear early, but he saw the 4 Emoticon Legacy move in front of him as well. He ultimately cleared the lead. That left Go Dog Go in a bad spot, guys. He was first up, had to do a lot of the heavy lifting there on the outside, but Maryland, again, had to stave off that challenge, and then even late, Maximus Muris with a lot of trot there at the inside. So really used early in that race, but still had plenty down the lane to dig in. This just shows you what type of champion Maryland is. Again, now he's 5 of 8 in his career. When you tack on this Breeders' Crown victory, he's going to be well over $1.1 million so far in his career. That is the second richest 2-year-old trotter of all time, behind only TCI's $1.2 million plus last season. We'll see TCI, of course, tomorrow. He'll be one of the favorites here in that 3-year-old colt trot.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing TCI tomorrow night, but Maryland well on his way to potentially a championship with the year that he's had. $3.60 winner, the first favorite to deliver so far in our Breeders' Crown races tonight.
Yeah, and delivered in a big way, and in a way you'd like to see, too, being able to dig in. And, credit goes, again, not only to Dexter Dunn, but also Marcus Melander, his whole team as well, because, this horse, prior to August 24th was kind of all right and had some good, races involved in there, but really got good as we got past August 24th with the Wellwood and the Houghton and then the Mohawk Million. And I just think, like I said, I think when you find the right combination of happy horse and driver and connections, it makes the world a difference. And I think it has for this horse, 100%.
It's been a good night so far for driver Dexter Dunn with 2 Breeders' Crown victories and counting. He's standing by with Jess.
Thanks, Acacia. Harness Racing's newest millionaire in Maryland gets the job done in Breeders' Crown Final for 2-year-old colt and geldings on the trot. Winning driver Dexter Dunn, just kind of walk me through his season and the progression over the year.
Yeah, I mean, Marcus and Matthias and the team have liked him right from the get-go, and so did I when I first sat behind him. They've just done a great job managing him and peaking him for these big races. He's, had an amazing season. And, I mean, coming into tonight, he hadn't raced for a bit. He'd won quiet qualifier, and he was ready to go 51, so it just shows the job they do.
Talk me through the trip here tonight. After you moved to the front, you were kind of contested throughout the whole way.
Yeah, I was really happy he got away in that first turn, and it was a little bit of action, and the pace was slow enough. When Louis moved, I thought I'd follow him, and I don't think I really hit him on the front. He was a little gun shy there on the front, but when those horses come into him up the straight, Toddy on the outside and then late Scotty on the inside, he really fought them off hard.
Give me a quick comment on Mickey and Minnie. She was big tonight as well.
Yeah, she was huge. Just a good bounce back from Luna Lovegood, my daughter Mila. She's favourite horse, one of her favourites, so she should have been disappointed. So it was good to jump back with Mickey and Minnie. Just put in an amazing performance. So, CJ was confident and he had it ready.
Nice to have your dad here as well.
Yeah, great to have RJ here. He's having a good time. He'll be wandering around talking to people, so good to get him in the photo for a couple.
Nice job and best of luck the rest of the weekend, Dex.
Yeah, thanks, Jess.
There you have it. Maryland takes the final for the Breeders' Crown in the 2-year-old colt and gelding trot. Back to you guys.
And Dexter Dunn has another big chance with Captain Optimistic in the 2-year-old pace coming up a little bit later on in race number 10. One that I know was a pretty easy decision for him to be the driver for, as Gabe shared. But first, we take a look at the field for race 9. 2-year-old fillies in the kindergarten series pacing a mile coming up. Scratch the 5. See her rule as My Sweet Lily, currently the favorite. Lo and behold, Dexter Dunn, the driver. But trainer Tony Alanya sending out 2 in this upcoming race with the 4 Simply Perfect as well as the 6 Chakra. But coming up a little bit later on in that colt and geldings pace in the 10th, he'll send out Fallout. Jeff caught up with Tony earlier today.
Thanks, guys. I have trainer Tony Alanya. Tony, you send out Fallout in the Breeders' Crown Final for the 2-year-old colt and gelding pacers. Just talk about his season overall first.
Well, we took him down to Kentucky after we raced him here early in the kindergarten for some experience, and we took him down there and got him started in the Kentucky Sires, and he started racing well, but I thought that he wasn't quite giving us 100%, and we made a couple changes, decided it was a good spot to take him up to Canada for the Metro, and he really, really blossomed up there. The limestone track seemed to really suit him. He won the elimination in the final, going for $1 million, and came back to Lexington, won there, and he was second, first over from a tough spot last week. Had first over to big back half and got beat by a horse that followed him. So I wish the draw was a little better tonight for him with the 9-hole, but if he's on his game, he'll be close.
Talk about your impressions on that elimination. Of course, I thought it was very good. Like you mentioned, he kind of told the winner into the race.
Yes, yeah, the winner followed him. You know, the winner's a very good colt. I think that's probably one of Ronnie's best colts, he'll tell you. But when they had that colt in Canada, things didn't go his way. He got the rougher of the trips, and our colt got the better of the trips. So, you know, they reversed here, and his colt responded.
How has his week been leading up to tonight?
He's had a good week. He seems happy, fresh, blood works good, everything checks out good. So, like I said, I wish we had a better number, but that's what we're dealt with. It's just for Timmy to decide what he can get done.
Best of luck tonight.
Thank you.
Jessica, thank you. Tony Alanya sending out Fallout coming up in that 2-year-old pace final. What do you make of Fallout coming in here second in that elimination?
I think their original plan was to kind of leave for the lead, but then when Poppy's Rocket went out there and kind of set that fast pace, they had some other ideas. But I truly believe that he's a better horse with someone to cover and get a little bit of a helmet in front of him. So I think tonight he'll be all right. He's posted in a spot where he should be able to get that flow and be able to see how things work out in front of him. He's not without a chance in here, Acacia.
5-2 on the morning line. Fallout post 8 coming up. Tim Tetrick will be in the bike coming up in race 10. A trainer, though, that we often expect to see in the winner's circle. There she is celebrating following the Hambletonian. Nancy Tactor. Still could be a big weekend for the Tactor barn. More on her chances after this. It's a little bit drier tonight.
In Indiana, we grow it. And when it comes to harness racing, the Indiana program has grown to become one of North America's very best. Breed development and the ISA have been there every step of the way by overseeing and promoting the Indiana sired racing, breeding, and stakes programs at every level. We're working to ensure a right future for all of us.
My Girl EJ on the outside, and here comes My Girl EJ as Dexter Dunn is sending her up to take the lead. My Girl EJ into the final eighth of a mile. Pass line. Geocentric has been defeated. It is My Girl EJ and Dexter Dunn. This is going to be a 7th win tonight for him, and a second Breeders' Crown winner with My Girl EJ.
My Girl EJ last year winning as a 2-year-old. She'll try to win tomorrow night as a 3-year-old as well. And coming in with some very strong credentials as well, Paul.
Yeah, 8 for 15 on the year. And let me tell you, I'm not sure that they wanted to draw it up the way it looked in her limb last week, but I got to tell you, I mean, she poured it on, in the stretch, and she held on. She was out a long way first over in there. She's going to be the likely favorite tomorrow night in that race, and I mean, she's the likely favorite to win another Breeders' Crown, go back-to-back, and that's always special to see.
Absolutely. Coming in off the winning her a limb last week as well, Dexter Dunn saying in there that she broke a little flat-footed, but the good thing about her is that she's versatile. She can be on the pace. She can come from off of it as well, and always exciting to see one that was a Breeders' Crown victor as a 2-year-old coming back and trying to do it again.
Yeah, we always talk about that all the time, right? Horses that can hold their form, not only race to race, but year to year. I mean, that's something special.
Horses leaving the paddock for race 9. This one not a Breeders' Crown race, but still for the 2-year-old fillies in the kindergarten series here, a 1-mile pace. And meeting the field, starting off with the one, she's a streaker.
0 for 8 on the year, but did start her career off with a couple second-place efforts. We'll see if she can get back to a good race. She's been keeping really good company lately.
She's taking attention as well at 7-2, a little bit of class relief in here. The 2 Bequeath is next.
Got a couple of wins to her credit in Sire Stakes action. She's going to need to find one of those better races to compete in here.
Speaking of class relief, tried the Breeders' Crown elimination rounds. Here's the 3 My Sweet Lily.
Yeah, she was a big price. She left with intent. She's got speed, better post today, softer group.
1 of 2 for trainer Tony Alagna, simply perfect.
Yeah, her wins were in the Pennsylvania Sire Stakes series, so she's another who just couldn't keep up with the better horses.
The other one for the Alagna Barnes, Chakra.
Pulled an upset win in that second leg of the Commonwealth Series back down at Lexington in August. Nothing else kind of really jumps off the page with her, though, so we'll find out what she can do tonight at a big price.
She is a generous price at 28-1. Next will be the lightly raced. You'll find out.
I got to tell you, I thought it was a really nice debut for a horse who took absolutely no money last time out. Had pace first over, had to stop because the horse came out to give her cover, so we'll see what happens tonight.
Spots her foes with experience, and the 8 Beach Rules. She has some experience.
Yeah, she definitely does. She's on that every other win pattern tonight. So, right, it's that simple. Sometimes when you look at the form, she'll win tonight. But, no, she's run well at spots, especially up at Tioga and the Reynolds. And she's got a nice fast gait to her, too, when she runs. So watch her.
And Toscano sending out Beach Rules from the outside. There is Nancy Tactor's charge, My Sweet Lily. Dexter Dunn in the bike is, look. They obviously had high hopes with her, tried to get her into the Breeders' Crown, did not qualify, so coming into this spot instead.
Yeah, and she was a huge number in that elimination, and they left with intent in that spot. And it was kind of funny because nobody really thought the long shots were going to leave in that race. And they ended up leaving, and they were 1-2 for a while. So I think getting back to a much softer spot, a much softer group, tonight will do her well. She won the New Jersey Classic back here in September, so she's very well versed here at the Meadowlands, and she can hang with these kind of types. And you can see it now that she's favored at 2-1.
Taking money, My Sweet Lily. Gabe and Jessica still with us. Says we'll see if this is the right spot for this 2-year-old filly.
Well, I believe so. I really do like My Sweet Lily in this spot. But Gabe is going to go with a bomb in here. He actually likes the 6 horse at 30-1. Chakra coming out of that Breeders' Crown elimination.
Yeah, I always try and take swings against favorites. Just rarely am I having the longest shot of the board, but that is the case here. Yeah. I think Chakra's been facing far better company. You look through her lines, it looks good in Lulu last time. She's been in against Rose and Poppy Grad. So some of the best 2-year-old pacing fillies in the sport this year. And she's just been a little overhead. This is a major plunge in class. I do not think that this is that great of a field. I think they're very competitive. I think that's a good thing, but she fits in here right with these fillies. It is not going to shock me whatsoever to see the daughter lather up, make some major noise here, and at a major price, 35-1. I am loving the price right now. I think Neba Borges does a great job at the bank for trainer Tony Alagna, but a lot of times the betting public overlooks him. He already has a runner-up earlier on tonight's card before we went live at the broadcast and one of our overnight events, so I think she fits nicely. I'm going to swing swing for the fences, so to speak.
I think Anibal is going to have to be forwardly placed a bit in here.
It's going to be interesting. The filly's done most of her best work off the pace. She does have early speed. With the scratch, she'll have a nice post to utilize here as well. She'll start from post number 5. I would expect him to take a look over his shoulder. You've got Yadik Gingras very aggressive with a filly that has speed there from post number 1. My Sweet Lily has done most of her work at the front end there with Dexter at post number 3 as well. So, I just think he's going to have to see how this race unfolds. But, even from post 5 now with a scratch, I don't think, regardless of where he gets away, that it'll be too far back and too far back from the action to potentially make a late move here and get into contention.
Dexter and Nancy are going to team up from post 3 with My Sweet Lily. Dexter did baby race her back earlier in the summer. Those fractions last week were just simply way too hot.
Yeah, they were very hot. They put blinkers on her. They've added an ear hood here as well, I believe, and a couple of the equipment changes, Jess. So, it seems to me they're just trying to keep her maybe a little more quiet. She was fired up there, as fired up as could get last time out from post number 9. A torrid pace here, 53-1. Once you saw that light up, you knew it was going to be a long day at the office for My Sweet Lily. So, no question, not a shock that she ended up stopping there. And she'd been battling some sickness prior to that. But that's my question. Is this the best version of My Sweet Lily that we've seen? It's a little late in the year. She comes off a couple of, lackluster performances, sickness in between. Just not a horse that I want to sign up at a short price on.
Beach Rules gets first-time Lasix tonight. Scotty Z, Linda Toscano teaming up here. First start out in her 2-year-old career game. She went 50-4, a winner by 9 lengths in an overnight event down at Chester. We know she's got speed.
She's got wicked talent. She seems to be just a little difficult to manage. Yes, even 2 starts back, she won a Reynolds stake by nearly 9 lengths, paced 50 and change. Here's the knock, though. Again, I'm always looking for reasons to beat favorites. She was 10 cents on the dollar last time, about the heaviest of favorites you could possibly see, and she faltered. I didn't think she had much of an excuse to stop there. I'm certainly not going to belly up here at 7-5 off a loss at that short of odds.
Gabe's going to try and beat the favorite in here with the 6 Chakra at 20-1. We'll send it back to you guys.
I like it. A big price. Gabe going with one, Tony Alanya, and Trent and Paul, you're actually going to go with the other one.
Yeah, so we've got the barn covered.
Yeah.
We're going to put him in the winner's circle right now with that. Yeah, Simply Perfect for me. I know the 2 wins this year came in Pennsylvania Sire Stakes action, but she's another horse that she's kind of had her problems when she's faced some of the bigger names that are going on. If you take a look at the 1 right now on your screen, she's a streaker. I think they're just, wait a second. No, I think they're okay.
It looks like just a little equipment
adjustment.
I think it was just Outrider helping out there.
Yeah, just a slight adjustment, and she'll be back on her way. So I think all's good in the hood with she's a streaker. So, but in Simply Perfect's case, I just think she wasn't up to the Breeders' Crown kind of caliber and in that discussion. So her second that she ran to Rodeo Drive Deo 2 back was a nice effort. Rodeo Drive Deo finished 3rd earlier tonight. So we'll see what we can do tonight with a good post at 7-2. And I'll tell you one thing as they head to the gate, the 7 horse, you'll find out. Nice debut for a horse who took absolutely no money. Was first over in that race, had to stop because a horse kind of came out, gave some cover. 3 wide, ran well to the wires. Got to do it on a big track now and get a little faster. But at 18-1, if we see any second-time improvement, it's been known to happen that they can jump up quick.
A big price going into some deeper waters tonight, but we'll see what she can do. Stepping forward, the favorite Beach Rules towards the outside. See if she can deliver as a favorite tonight. Lining up for the 2-year-old filly Pace, Ken Workington has the call.
On gate for race 9, field of 7. Scratch 5, See Her Rule Lane. Here they come. And they're off. Chakra from the outside, and Simply Perfect shoots out and goes for the lead. She's a streaker from the inside with early speed. Bequeath cuts the corner into 4th, and My Sweet Lily is 5th in that 2-path there. Swings in over to the cones just in front of You'll Find Out. And the early trailer is Beach Rules. We'll have to pass them all tonight. Here comes Chakra on the outside, up to challenge Simply Perfect for the lead off a quarter of 28-1. So it's Chakra on the outside, and Anibal Boras takes the lead with that one. Chakra to the front. Simply Perfect is now 2nd. She's a streaker tracking 3rd, and Bequeath is 4th, and My Sweet Lily is 5th by 2, followed by You'll Find Out. Beach Rules still at the back at 4-5. Single file, no right lines at the half. It's Chakra. A long shot here, 25-1 on the board, leads the way. Simply Perfect in for that perfect two-hole ride, 56 for the half, 27-4 second quarter speed. She's a streaker tracking third, and they move on to the far turn with Bequeath fourth. My Sweet Lily is fifth, and then it's You'll Find Out, and Beach Rules continues to trail. No movement here with about a quarter mile to go. They approach three quarters, and it's Chakra looking for a wire-to-wire upset. Deuce popping now, Simply Perfect and Todd McCarthy. And right there, She's a Streaker gearing up from third. Bequeath is fourth. Three quarters, 1:23 and 2. 27-2 in that third quarter. Chakra on the inside. Simply Perfect after the perfect trip. Chakra digs in, fends her off. Simply Perfect trying to pour it on, and She's a Streaker on the outside. But Chakra came to pace tonight. It's Chakra, Anibal Boras and Chakra all the way for the upset. Then She's a Streaker, Simply Perfect, and My Sweet Lily, 150-3.
Chakra with the win, aggressive early on, and Gabe Pruitt giving out 25-1 shots.
My man Gabe, man, that is some good call on a horse that they were aggressive with tonight. Animal Boris just went to the top when nobody else really went. I mean, the other Tony Alonso horse, Simply Perfect, floated out of there, but there was really no movement. Sense in that, just went to the top and had it pretty easy out there. It looked like Simply Perfect was going to come calling right here when he deuce popped, but boy, he flattened out quick in the lane, and She's a Streaker just hasn't won this year. So at this point, I turned around to you and said, Gabe's home free. Like, he's got this in the bag, and sure enough, he did. 25-1. Nice call, Gabe Pruitt.
Tony Alanya with the victory. Chakra as Gabe, a terrific call, and I'm sure you were not mad with that aggressive trip this horse got today.
No, thanks so much, guys. I was very happy that he ended up driving on the lead here. And again, it was just a field where I had a lot of questions about a couple of the favorites. I mean, a couple of them have been battling sickness. We mentioned the 8 Beach Rules had come off a loss at 10 cents on the dollar. I thought Chakra had just been racing much better company. I thought it was a type of spot where it looked like she was ripe for a drop and pop. But we got, at the end of the day, a very good price here, 25-1. Quite happy with this performance, and again, I was very pleased when he went on to the top. A little worried there when Simply Perfect started to angle wide from the pocket so early, but fortunately, guys, at least this time, we had plenty left in the tank.
That we did. Terrific call at 25-1. Chakra getting the victory. Aggressive and holding on plenty late. And as Gabe touched on, there were questions about the 8 Beach Rules, and she really did not fire at all tonight.
No, and she didn't even leave from the gate. She was last all the way around until she got into a little bit of a flow at the top of the stretch, but did absolutely no running at all. So something may have been amiss there. It just wasn't her night. But, boy, it was the 6's night for sure at a big number.
Chakra with the victory. We heard that interview from Tony Alanya. Of course, he has Fallout coming up in the next race, in that Breeders' Crown final, but I'm sure we'll be quite happy with this win as well.
Yeah, I would think so, too. And it's funny, too, because, you know, as Gabe mentioned, you know, there were some races that this horse had on his card which faced better horses, you know, and came into a field that was a little bit softer here. And, you know, for me, I just felt like there wasn't much surrounding that upset win in the second leg of the Commonwealth back in August. But picked this horse's race at the park. Only got beat 2.5, got beat 4, got beat 5 1/4. So there was some foundation there for this horse against horses like Rose and Mickey and Minnie as well.
You liked Simply Perfect. The other one for the Alanya barn, she checks in third, but it is the 6 Chakra 25-1 upset in race number 9. Prices and more when we come back. And hey, we all know somebody that would rather be spending their days at the racetrack. How about an NBA star, Nikola Jokic, and his love for the sport of harness racing? More on that after this.
My grandfather instilled in me that there's no such thing as luck. He said luck is where hard work meets opportunity.
The future is bright in Ohio. Ohio Sire Stakes, Buckeye Stallion Series, 66 county and independent fairs. Whether it's the Ohio Sire Stakes, the Buckeye Stallion Series, or the county fairs, Ohio has a place for your racehorse. This year, Ohio breds are racing for nearly $23 million in stakes purses. Be part of the winning. Breed, buy, race, win in Ohio.
It's time for Green to get it on. Green Manalishi, whose first crop of 2-year-olds hit the track in 2024. The son of 2009 Horse of the Year Muscle Hill was a millionaire Major League Stake star who went wire to wire in the Canadian Trotting Classic. And Green Manalishi was prolific in the breeding shed. Get in on the ground floor, then head to the penthouse with your own green machine. I can't miss Green Manalishi. Book your mare today to Green Manalishi, standing at Terra Hill Stud in Ontario. Champions are made on the racetrack, but many of them are born, raised, and developed at farms right here in New Jersey. New Jersey is home to nearly 100,000 acres devoted to the horse industry, and harness racing's breeding and training facilities play a vital role in protecting open space and supporting agriculture throughout the Garden State. With the state's ongoing recognition of the importance and value of the standardbred industry, New Jersey will remain a place where champions are made. To learn more, visit sboanj.com.
You're watching America's Day at the Races, brought to you by the Standardbred Breeders Association of Pennsylvania. We just saw a big upset in race number 9, the Kindergarten Series for 2-year-old fillies, as Chakra, with an aggressive drive, gets the victory at 25-1. And it was about time that Gabe Pruitt gave out a long shot. It seems every show we do, he gives out a good price horse.
Yeah, he was a little off his game there, so we finally got one back. And he even agreed with me here. I thought right here, that's Simply Perfect. The other Alanya horse was going to go right on by. I thought it was a little bit of an early move by Todd McCarthy, but maybe he just felt like the 6 was coming back to him at that point. But at the end of the day, boy, the 6 just did not stop and came home pretty strong in there. So, I mean, softer field and a wide open field and aggression seemed to make, and there wasn't much movement in this race either, Acacia. We didn't see anybody really right line it or anybody get an out or flow started.
$52.80 winner for Chakra. Nice performance there, holding off She's a Streaker, yet to see the winner's circle. She'll have to check in second today. We are back to Breeders' Crown action in the 10th. It's the final 2-year-old colts and geldings pacing, as we'll take a look at the fields here. And no surprise, this one more wide open than any of the other Breeders' Crown races we've seen earlier today. It seems that there's always kind of been one horse that people are zeroing in on. It's a heavy favorite. Right now, Swingtown, the favorite at 5-2, but a much more wide open board, Paul.
Yeah, it's early in the wagering right now, but I think at the end of the day, you're going to see the money settle on Swingtown and Captain Optimistic and Fallout and Blueprint to some extent in here. I think you can make a case for all 4 of them in here. I think it's a little bit more wide open as far as some of the other races we've seen tonight.
Absolutely. Well, more on that Breeders' Crown final in a moment, but as we mentioned before the break, it's pretty fun and pretty exciting when you see an NBA champion and 2-time MVP Nikola Jokic out at the racetrack. He kept my Miami Heat from a championship, but of course the center for the Denver Nuggets, and I'll forgive him because he's such a big racing fan.
I was going to say, who's counting, right?
I know.
I guess you are.
3-time NBA MVP, yes.
I think it's great. You see him out there, and you can't miss him. He's the tallest guy in all the pictures, for sure,
Yes, he is. We love to see it. It's so great. And there is a lot of overlap with athletes into horse racing, whether it's on the thoroughbred sides or the standardbreds.
And we've actually seen that, in recent years, where a lot more of them are starting to get involved, in the sport. And it is great to see on so many different levels that they're getting involved in.
Of course, we saw MLB hero Jason Worth winning the Belmont Stakes this year with Dornick as well. So it's always cool to see that crossover with athletes. And Jess, I know you got a chance to see Jokic when he was here at the track. And you've often seen it in plenty of the press conferences as well, with him saying, I'd rather be watching racing.
That's exactly it, Acacia. I don't think I've ever met anybody who loves harness racing more than him. And it's funny because, you know, he's been here a couple of times, and I'd make him dinner reservations up in our dining areas. And he's like, no, I want to hang out with the guys in the back. So that's what he did. He hung out with the guys in the back both times he was here. The friendships he's developed with especially Tim Tetrick and the other guys are just so awesome. You know, he wants to talk about horses. Everybody else wants to talk about basketball. And, you know, to watch him interact with the horsemen was just unbelievable. He's such a great guy, so nice, so knowledgeable, and he wanted to ask all the questions in the world. He walked up and down that paddock and picked up horses' feet to see what kind of shoes they had on, and he'd pick the brains of the trainers and the drivers. You know, why do you have this horse rigged like that? Why did you drive that horse like that? And the relationship he's made with the Tetrick family is just amazing. He's been to a couple of farms, trained a couple of babies. I think he owns a couple pieces of some of the horses. So it's just so fun. And, you know, that photo that you just saw the next day, about me and about 6 other guys went to the basketball game over in New York. And he would, every time he was, you know, shooting the ball in the warm-ups, he would point to us and smile and laugh. And he's just an incredible guy, loves harness racing. And as soon as his season is over, he goes back home. And we've invited him to come back a couple of times for the Hamiltonian. And he's like, I want to focus on my stable here. So it's so great to have, you know, professional sports players in basketball, football, and what have you not involved in harness racing. And couldn't ask for a better guy to be on our side in harness racing.
Well said, Jess. A great ambassador for the sport as well. And I loved that story that she shared of going up and down the paddock and asking questions about equipment and about tactics, and just truly a love and a passion for the sport.
Yeah, and showing it not only for his horses, but also showing it for the sport itself. And then it's got to be just as great of a rush, you know, for these guys to see their horses compete and win as it is for them to actually be performing in the sports that they're in.
Absolutely. As the biggest stage of any sport, whatever it is, it's that certain experience, that certain feeling that you just can't put into words. When we come back, though, we have another Breeders' Crown final coming up, the 2-year-old colt and gelding Pacers. And there's a look at Captain Optimistic. Dexter Dunn looking for another Breeders' Crown, would be his 3rd of the evening. More on this field after this.
We've had a wonderful breeding program here for years.
Pennsylvania has an excellent program. The proof of that is Harrisburg in November. That's a major event for Pennsylvania. We bring in some 6,000 individuals from all over the world. They want to buy Pennsylvania breds.
This is where the top stallions are. A lot of the top mares are here, and between the 3 major tracks here in Pennsylvania, it's perfect.
Pennsylvania has always been at the forefront, and we want to keep it there.
They reach 3/4 and 122 and 4. Racing for a home in the Breeders' Crown Final. Perfect Sting has the lead. Southwind Gendry to the outside, and here comes J.K. going west, angling 3 wide with less than an eighth of a mile to go. Perfect Sting, the streaker to the line. Southwind Gendry, J.K. going west, and a fast closing is Summa Cum Laude to the wire. Tied to the line may have been Perfect Sting, but it's too close. 150 and 2 in the Breeders' Crown Final. Photo for win.
And it turns out it really was too close to call back in 2020. That was the first dead heat for a win in a Breeders' Crown history between Perfect Sting and Summa Cum Laude.
Wild thing was Dave Miller did everything right on Perfect Sting, fought off the pressure outside, and Brian Sears, the White Knight, came calling late with Summa Cum Laude and just got there, literally, in the last stride to dead heat.
We'll see if this year's 2-year-old Colts and gelding pace can live up to that excitement. Still a wide open board. Swingtown still your favorite, though, coming in off the back of that win in the elimination last week.
You know, for him, I think legitimately the best move at the end of the day was that he floated out and landed behind Fallout, because he got some live cover, you know, to close into the race with in there and just opened it up late. I love the nice burst of kind of sprint speed that he has, and you know, I felt like the good Swingtown was starting to come back into form off his last couple of races. He set a lifetime mark last time out. He's got a good post tonight. Gonna have to probably take a little bit of a shorter price in here. I was thinking more along the lines of he was going to be more like second choice, but you know, we'll see what happens between him and Captain Optimistic at the end of the day. But you know, when you take a look at this race that he ran in the Elim, I just think occasionally it was just the perfect setup. You know, Fallout was making that move. Fallout's a good horse. You know he was going to run well, passing some of the leaders that were tiring, and he just got that perfect second over trip that we talk about. You know, a lot of times it was able to flip 3 wide, make that run, show that sprint speed coming home, and, you know, he's coming back into form. And we talk about the way horses kind of fall in and out of form. You want to get good now when the money's on the line, and I think he's got a big shot tonight.
And the thing with Swingtown as well is that it does seem like he's quite versatile in his running style for Ron Burke coming in here, and Ron sending out a couple in this race as well. But it seems like the versatility of the running style for this horse is definitely one of his big benefits.
Yeah, I think it should help him out a lot in here. And I think the other thing, too, is, you know, when you take a look down his race card, you see a couple of 3rd and 4th place efforts in the Metro Elim and then the Metro Pace itself. And I think that he started to get better with those Metro Pace efforts. And, you know, on paper they may not look as good, but believe me, he started to race his way back into form, and we started to see the better Swingtown. And it showed, though, when he came back in the Ohio Sire Stakes and then again with his Elim win.
As we'll take a look at Captain Optimistic, Dexter Dunn looking for another Breeders' Crown victory tonight. Captain Optimistic, the one that Gabe shared earlier on today. Pretty easy decision for him as to who he would be sitting behind.
No doubt, because, I mean, not for anything. I mean, this race was great. That was some Elim, because not only was that a track record time for 2-year-old pacers, it's the fastest 2-year-old in Meadowlands history, you know?
It's amazing.
And he just refused to lose. We talk about that all the time with horses that, you know, get put on the point, they keep going, they look like they're going to get collared, but they just keep sticking their head out, you know? And here you thought he was beat. I don't think so. Dexter still had some in the tank. And look at his head. I mean, look at the way he's just bearing down and putting away the horse that was inside of him. Great effort. I think he popped his head pole off, too, in that race, too. So that makes it even more impressive. He's got a nice post. He's going to fight it out for a crown. He's a fighter, and we talk about horses that are fighters. Those are the ones that you want to drive. Those are the ones that you want to, you know, be a part of. And those are the ones that are going to give you everything they got to the wire.
Absolutely. Showed a lot of tenacity last time out. Captain Optimistic did. As we'll see if Dexter Dunn can pick up another one tonight. We'll see if he can run anywhere as fast as he did in that elimination. Are you at all concerned that how much he had to fight and how much he put forth might take a little of the starch out of him tonight?
Well, we'll see what happens. I mean, you know what? Sometimes they can bounce off those bigger efforts. I don't know. I think he's been solid all year, though, so I think he's going to be tough.
Horses in the paddock, drivers getting ready. We have the 10th race, this Breeders' Crown Final, coming up after this. Stay with us on America's Day at the Races.
Alaraj Farms, more than 3 decades of trendsetting and modern trotting. The birthplace of millionaires Fern, Muscles Marinara, Whiskey Tax, and Dewey Color in the Line. Alaraj Farms is home to broodmares such as Ice Attraction, Lucky Ava, Non-Stick, and 7 Times a Lady. Check out their lineup of 21 yearlings by sires such as Muscle Hill, Walner, Chimpanzee, Chapter 7, and the first crop of Captain Corey's selling this fall in Lexington. Find them online at alarajfarm.com or on Facebook.
Horse racing? Check. Weekly promotions? Got them. Huge payouts? You bet. With Naira Bets. Download the app today and bet on any track, anywhere, anytime with live HD horse races, betting tips and tutorials, expert picks, and more. You bet with Naira Bets. Join now for a new member bonus at nairabets.com.
We are athletes. We are drivers. We are caretakers. We are owners. We are trainers. We are fans. We are harness racing.
You're watching America's Day at the Races. Thanks for sticking with us as we see horses leaving the paddock for the 10th race, the 2-year-old colts and geldings final for the Pacers coming up as pretty wide open race as we've discussed for these 2-year-olds. This will be our final Breeders' Crown race of the evening as we'll take a look at the number 1 Pappy's Pistol to kick off the post parade.
He's posted well once again. He just hasn't been able to run with the likes of Captain Optimistic and some others.
Still your favorite. There's the 2, Swingtown.
Yeah, coming off that lifetime mark. We'll see if that took a little starch out of him last week, but I just think he's got a good running style for this kind of race, so it suits him well to get the job done.
2-1 for trainer Ron Burke, who will also send out the next horse, the number 3, close behind him, sipping on Ciroc.
Yeah, he towed second over behind his stablemate last week and just couldn't figure out how to beat him again. So it's tough to take him in here when he hasn't been able to figure out his stablemate and then figure out some others. Does have a good post, though, tonight to see what he can do.
Fourth in that Breeders' Crown elimination behind Captain Optimistic last time out. There's the 4, Prince Hal Hanover.
Listen, has that solid effort 3 back in the Metro Pace, so that kind of makes him a contender. He's just 2 for 8 this year, though.
Captain Optimistic, fastest 2-year-old in Meadowlands history.
Yeah, we'll see if that race took anything out of him. It's an interesting chess match with 2 horses who ran really well last time.
Makes sense, a big price.
Yeah, nice ground-saving trip to finish 3rd behind Swingtown and Fallout last time. It was an acid test for class.
There's a 7, Banderas, another generous price.
Yeah, just 1 for 8 this year. That was at the lower level of the Kentucky Sire Stakes. Fallout's next in line. I'll grab him for you. I think that, for the Metro Pace, I didn't want to leave last time all that hard. So I don't think he ran badly. It's just Swingtown followed him and got the right trip. I'm hoping he gets a little softer trip tonight.
And the final 2 for trainer Ron Burke, Lou Print. This one a homebred for the Burke Brigade.
I just don't think he looked comfortable last week. He was kind of gap sitting 4th. Maybe a little bit more aggression this week for him will help.
And Railroad Station, the final of 4 for Ron Burke.
I thought he ran one of his better races last time, trying to collar and give it to Captain Optimistic. The problem is now he's got post 10, so it makes things a lot harder tonight.
His favoritism has now shifted over to Captain Optimistic, but as far as Swingtown is concerned, Gabe and Jess coming in off the back of that Elim victory, Ron Burke holds a very strong hand in this race.
Yes, he definitely does, Acacia. And I want to just go back to the beginning of Swingtown season, Gabe, when he was racing in the Next Generation in Ohio. I texted my sister and I was like, who is that? I mean, this guy is just gorgeous on the racetrack.
You know, he really is. If you're out there in the thoroughbred world, the Next Generation, it's sort of one of those buy your tickets early races. It's about a $10,000 a slot. They go for $150,000. Typically, it's like the first start of a horse's career. So we say that quite a bit. You know, when a horse was the Next Generation, wow. You know, he did look very good doing that. Did a lot of good work out in the Buckeye State in Ohio. He's 6 of 9, just over $350,000 in his career. And, you know, he's got a license to be a very nice colt. He's a brother to a pair over $600,000, including a former Little Brown jug winner in Captain Barbosa. So, you know, good family, good colt. And that is my top choice. But, you know, he has taken a lot of play here at 5-2 on the board right now. I thought we'd get a little better than that at the end of the day, but 7-2 in the morning line. I even thought we could get 4-1 or 9-2 here. And I'll tell you why. It's because Dexter Dunn drove him in the elimination. He opted off in lieu of the 5 Captain Optimistic. So I thought that would send a lot of the fans that direction as well.
I think the only problem I have with Swingtown is that you can't get him too stirred up. We saw that in the Metro elimination where he was just guns a-blazing. And then in the final, I thought he was good. He come from well off of the pace. I think he can be his own worst enemy sometimes.
Yeah, and that is going to be the challenge with Yannick jumping aboard here, who's done a lot of good work over the years for trader Ron Burke. But a big one here for trader Ron Burke. Speaking of which, we'll catch up with him here just a little bit later on the show. But 4 of the 10 starters here in this event. He actually trained the fastest 2-year-old pacing colt in the history of this Breeders' Crown final as well. Of course, that was Sweet Lou, one of the standout sires in the sport at this point. He set that 149 Breeders' Crown record way back at the 2-year-old colt pace in 2011.
Captain Optimistic was Dexter Dunn's choice in here after winning both of the eliminations last week. Post-8, no problem, right down the road after Nancy made some changes to him.
You know, I thought one thing that was, you know, a couple of things that were very impressive about that, Jesse. He had missed almost a month, so you had to think, you know, likely he needed that start a little bit. And he actually got collared there. He got headed in deep stretch by the 10 Railroad Station, who came up the inside to him. So I really liked the killer instinct that he was able to show there because, you know, he was able to step back up and deliver the knockout punch. You know, a lot of times when horses get pressure like that in deep stretch, they'll sort of give it up. That was not the case for a dead game Captain Optimistic. That made him 6 of 8. Obviously a major player here, and he's up there right now 5-2, the co-favorite.
Fallout, Tony Alania, Tim Tetrick teaming up here. We heard from Tony earlier on in the show. This guy just keeps getting better and better as the season rolls on. Thought it was a tough trip last week. He was forced in a spot where he had to come first over. He was out for a while, got out sprinted by Swingtown, who he towed into the race.
Yeah, and Fallout has all of the credentials to be a nice one as well. But that's why those elimination races, Jess, are so important, because when you do win, you're guaranteed post 1 through 6. He went off as the 30 cents on the dollar favorite, the runner-up behind Swingtown. He couldn't stave him off late, so that's why he's forced, to draw open, and he lands in post 8. So it's not going to be an easy assignment for the Captain Treacherous connections. How about that? Trader Tony Alania, Tim Tetrick, his regular pilot. He's drawing a lot of similarities to the captain as well. And how about the breeder, Brittany Farms, second all-time leading breeder in Breeders' Crown history. We saw Hanover Shoe Farms breed Maryland earlier. They're 32, but Brittany Farms at a much smaller volume level, 30 Breeders' Crown champions. Could they have another here with Fallout?
I think this is going to be the most wide-open race on the card tonight. Our final Breeders' Crown race, 2-year-old Colton Geldings on the pace. 5-2 right now on the 5. Captain Optimistic. Will Dexter Gunn get another one? We'll send it back to you guys.
He's looking to keep that momentum going. Just thank you, Captain Optimistic, with Dexter Dunn in the bike. And look, he's been very good and was very impressive in that elimination. I think that there is, though, a fair question to say, did it shake him a little bit? Does he have a little bit of the starch knocked out of him with a record performance? And he was incredibly game. He had to fought. It's not like it was an easy win.
Yeah, there was nothing handed to him, and that's for sure. And when you go down his dance card and you look at some of his races, he do has some of those fighting wins, but he's also traded some blows with some horses. You know, in the Metro Pace, he lost to Fallout and Prince Hal Hanover, but he kind of made that first move and kind of opened up and got a little separation before he got collared late in that. You know, we talked about earlier on, Acacia, how the board was going to kind of come together, and it really sure did between the 2, 5, and the 8 in here. And I think the betting public's kind of zoned in on the 3 logical choices when you look at them.
Where do you land as far as the top pick is concerned?
I'm still going to end up with Swingtown in here. At the end of the day, I still think he has got a good running style, and he's probably going to fall into another good trip in this race in here. He didn't disappoint last week, and I think his form is back, and he's back to the better Swingtown.
Captain Optimistic. Last week we saw him set a record and become the fastest 2-year-old in Meadowlands history. Can he do it again tonight in the finals? You're watching coverage of the Breeders' Crown on FS1. Here's Ken Workington with the 2-year-old colts and geldings.
And start of the late pick 4. 5-2 on the 2 Swingtown and 5 Captain Optimistic. 3-1 on the 8 Fallout. On gate, race 10. Here they come. They're off. Fallout and Lou Print backed away after a brief bid there. Prince Hal Hanover from between horses. Captain Optimistic put in play. Swingtown and Pappy's Pistol on the inside, 6th into the first turn. Then comes Sippin' on Sea-Rock, followed by Make Sense at the rear of the field. And Banderas and Railroad Station trails to the opening quarter. And Lou Print and Ronnie Wren Jr. zipping up on the outside is Fallout and Tetrick. Fallout looking for the lead. Lou Print now second off a quarter of 27-1 across the backstretch. Prince Hal Hanover in 3rd position. Captain Optimistic looks at it from 4th as they continue towards the half. Swingtown is 5th. Then it's Sippin' on Sea-Rock, 6th on the outside. 7th is Make Sense, stride for stride there with Pappy's Pistol. Then it's a gap of 2 to Banderas. And underway from last is Railroad Station. Now they're chasing Fallout. 4-1 on the board. Fallout 55-2, 28-1. Fallout in front. Lou Print carving out a 2-hole ride. Onto the far turn they go. Captain Optimistic attacks first over. Tracking him is Swingtown into second over position. Prince Hal Hanover stride with him in 5th. Sippin' on Sea-Rock to the outside 6th. Make Sense is 7th on the outside. Then it's Pappy's Pistol and Banderas and Railroad Station. They're at 3/4. And it's Fallout under attack. Fallout in 1, 22-3, 27-1 into the stretch of the Breeders' Crown. And it's Fallout. Lou Print has dead aim on the outside and pours it on. Captain Optimistic needs to do more. Sippin' on Sea-Rock, zips through on the inside. Fallout digging in. Lou Print trying to get to him and doing that. It's Lou Print. Lou Print tight there with Sippin' on Sea-Rock and Fallout. And Captain Optimistic, photo for win, 149-1.
Well, it wasn't quite a dead heat, but it was pretty close. Lou Print on the outside, incredibly game with the 3. Sippin' on Sea-Rock flying up the inside. Ron Burke finishing 1-2 in here.
Kudos to Ron Burke and the barn, too. Look at Ron. He's taking off head to the winner's circle. But I got to tell you something. You know, last week talked about drivers not being as aggressive, and I think the feeling with Lou Print from Ron Burke and the barn was that Ronnie Wren Jr. just was not super aggressive with this horse. Well, they left tonight. They got a good pocket ride when Fallout decided to retake, and when they popped, they had some speed. And I think staying closer this week was the key to a horse that needed that turnaround and to be aggressive with. And listen, take nothing away. He ran great in the lane. And Sippin' on Sea-Rock on the inside. I mean, came with that late run. Got a perfect trip up the inside, but just not enough to get the job done. Kudos to Ronnie Wren Jr. because I think last week was the first time Ronnie Wren Jr. drove at the Meadowlands. Now he's a Breeders' Crown winner here.
Pretty impressive, and I'm sure that trainer Ron Burke would have been happy with either one getting their nose down first, but I'm sure it's a little bit more special with Lou Print, as this one's also a homebred for Burke Racing Stable, and by their stallion, Sweet Lou, who has been tremendous and has a lot of contenders this weekend.
Yeah, and like Ron Burke has said, like that's their stallion, you know, like that's what they're only basically stallion, you know, so it's got to be a lot of pride for that, and homebreds mean more, you know, not that they don't all mean everything, but when it's a homebred, it means more. You've seen it from the beginning, but I'm telling you, kudos to Ronnie Wren because, you know, based on off of last week, man, came back being aggressive tonight with a horse who was good prior to this, you know, and got overlooked here too. I think ended up going off at 8-1 in here.
A nice price as well. Lou Print by Sweet Lou getting the victory in here. Ronnie Wren Jr., who knows this horse very well, has been with him throughout the majority of his career. And Lou Print now a Breeders' Crown winner here in the 2-year-old pacing final. sat kind of in that good trip. It looked like we saw the leader kind of quite comfortable. However, I think also a story, Captain Optimistic. We had raised some concerns with that fast performance in the elimination. Did he kind of do the race a little bit too early versus here in the final?
Could be. I think he got flushed first over, too, by Swingtown, and he just was a little flat when they turned for home in there. So maybe the last race did take a little bit out of him. I thought Fallout ran well in here, and I really thought your winner ran a bang-up race in here. And kudos to Ron Burke for not giving up on Ronnie Wren Jr. either. This horse, he's driven this horse in Kentucky and everywhere and bought him here to drive. So great run.
9-3-8-5 in the final for the 2-year-old Colts and Gelding Pacers, as it is Lou Print to get the victory here. Now a Breeders' Crown winner. We will bring you prices and more when we come back. But speaking of the Burke Brigade and a homebred, they'll have another one tomorrow with My Girl EJ. We saw her win here as a 2-year-old. She's the 2-1 morning line favorite tomorrow in the 3-year-old fillies pacing final.
Champions are made on the racetrack, but many of them are born, raised, and developed at farms right here in New Jersey. New Jersey is home to nearly 100,000 acres devoted to the horse industry, and harness racing's breeding and training facilities play a vital role in protecting open space and supporting agriculture throughout the Garden State. With the state's ongoing recognition of the importance and value of the standardbred industry, New Jersey will remain a place where champions are made. To learn more, visit sboanj.com.
You're watching America's Day at the Races, night one of Breeders' Crown coverage, as we just saw another victorious entrant from the Ron Burke barn. Ron, who has just been so dominant when the Breeders' Crown is concerned, picking up another victory with Lou Print.
Yeah, when you think about it, too, and you look at just the way it goes for him in his barn, horses in this race, even the horses that he had in this race, people were thinking more along the lines of Swingtown and Sippin' on Ciroc, and they kind of just got away from Lou Print, in here. And I just thought the aggressive ride made all the difference tonight. They left with intent, they left with purpose, got to the top, had a little give and go with Fallout, and just popped the pocket and had enough to get it done. And listen, this horse had won 6 races prior this year, and had done some good work in the Kentucky Sire Stakes. So it's not a shock by any means that this horse turned it around.
And a 21 Breeders' Crown victories now for trainer Ron Burke. Just absolutely amazing. And as we talked about, this one a homebred as well, and being by a stallion, Sweet Lou. So his hands all over this pedigree, knowing the family. $18 winner here, Ronnie Wren Jr. in the bike, drifting up in price at 8-1. In fact, the barn 1-2, sipping on Ciroc with a big late rally up the inside, Fallout, the pace setter, having to settle for third, but close third at that. Ronnie Wren Jr. in the bike for the winner, though, and he's standing by with Jess.
Thanks, Acacia. Luprint gets the job done from Post 9. Winning driver Ronnie Wren. Ronnie, you stuck with this colt all season long. Just talk about his progression all year.
He's not an ordinary horse. I mean, it's his dream come true to drive him. You know, when I first qualified him, I really liked the horse. You know, he was terrific both qualifiers. He's been great at Pennsylvania, great at the Red Mile, and for Ronnie and Weaver and Buscemi to trust me to come here and drive this horse, it means the world.
Talk about last week. Maybe not the trip you wanted to get. He come really strong last quarter there. Tonight, from an outside post, the game plan had to be go.
Yeah, I was pretty upset with my drive last week. You know, it was my first drive here, and I just didn't think I drove very good, to be honest. But he made it up tonight.
You got your first Big M win earlier on in the card. You get your first Breeders' Crown win. How excited are you?
I'm like shaking right now. I cannot believe this is happening. So thank you very much.
Congratulations. Go enjoy it.
Thanks. Love your wife.
There you have it. Luprint gets the job done in the final Breeders' Crown for the 2-year-old colt and geldings. Back to you guys.
Ronnie Wren Jr. excited, and rightfully so, picking up his first Breeders' Crown victory with Lou Print. All smiles in the winner's circle.
Yeah, no doubt. Ronnie Wren's a really good driver in his own right, you know, and he just doesn't come east that much, you know, so it was great to see him here at the Meadowlands and great to see him pick up this win.
Knows this colt well, and now delivered here in the Breeders' Crown. Here's what took place. Maryland, the only favorite to deliver as far as our Breeders' Crown winners are concerned this evening.
You know what's funny, though, when you look at that? I think Lady Landia was only 7-2 on the morning line and got, you know,
She
way up
drifted
because,
up.
yeah, because of just the price that we saw on Luna Lovegood, you know, in that race as well. So, and Mickey and Minnie, solid horse, you know, in her own right. And Maryland, I mean, what can you say? It's just been a totally different horse, you know, since that August 24th date. You know, has run so well. And Luprint was kind of like the forgotten Ron Burke horse after last week, but they had said, you know, they wanted to be more aggressive. They felt the aggressiveness wasn't there in the elim to give this horse, you know, the best chance to win a race. Well, boy, it paid off tonight tenfold, you know, for winning a Breeders' Crown.
It really did. Ron Burke 1-2 in the pacing final for the 2-year-olds. Tomorrow, though, he's going to have some strong chances. Now, look, one is a 20-1 long shot, then you have an 8-1 in there, but the rest of them, very short prices and some big stars, including my girl EJ, who we talked about as a Breeders' Crown winner last year, By the Missile defending his title as well. TCI, we know how dominant and talented that horse is. Some very big chances on tomorrow's card as well.
Yeah, not for anything. You know, MM Stream is going to be one of my horses to watch for tomorrow, too. You know, in the first race, we're going to see By the Missile as well. You know, he's loaded. He's definitely loaded. And, you know, he takes pride in that operation, and he's doing exceptional things.
Well, speaking of Ron Burke, he's standing by with Gabe. And Gabe, coming into today, 20 Breeders' Crown wins. Make that 21.
That's right, guys. Blackjack, 21 Breeders' Crown trophies now for you, Ron Burke. Sports all-time leading trader. He's been 3-time trader of the year in sport of harness racing. You didn't have much to sweat in this photo. Luprint sipping on Ciroc. Not much to worry about when you're 1-2.
Yeah, it's still there's some sweat. Like I said all along, this is my colt. This is the colt I love. This is the colt I wanted for, you know, for everything. So, you know, I was so happy. I knew he had hung on, and, you know, believe me, it was a big one. This is as happy as I get.
And he was just 1/5 of a second off a stakes record, 149. Do you recall who had that stakes record?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like it would have been cool if he'd equaled Lou. I don't really know if I'd need anybody breaking Lou's record, so I'm cool with that too.
Yeah, that's incredible. Sweet Lou, of course, 2011 had that stakes record. Good win here. No, at that point in Sweet Lou's career, when he won the Breeders' Crown, he made like $680,000. So Luprint's going to wrap up his year, regardless if you race him or not. You know, he's had a more productive 2-year-old campaign. Is he the type of horse that could follow in his sire's footsteps?
I think he'll even be better as a 3-year-old. I learned a lot because of Lou that, I won't make the same mistakes with this colt. So, Lou, I give him credit because that was my first top 3-year-old. And he taught me some things that maybe I did wrong. And one of the times training him here in 48 by myself. So we won't do that again.
You mentioned on air last Saturday night with us that you thought Lou Print, maybe Ronnie Wren wasn't quite as aggressive enough in the bike. That memo seemed to be received.
Yeah, no, he understood today where I wanted to be going, and it wasn't to the back. So, I was very proud of him. Ronnie had all the confidence in the world. He wasn't shaken. I was a little bit more shaken than Ronnie was. He was not one bit.
And you've got a big night tomorrow night as well, Ronnie. You had, of course, 9 in tonight, 7 more on tap tomorrow night. How about my girl, EJ, last year's Breeders' Crown winner? What do you think about her? She's coming in off a nice elimination victory.
You know what? She's super sharp right now. She's got the right spot. She's got the right driver. The guy's on fire, and couldn't have been better this week. Maybe the best she's trained this year.
And that was a gutsy performance. We're taking a look back at it now. But first up, that was no easy assignment. You see her saddle pad nearly coming off there. But Dexter just keeps her to task, so to speak, and really edged by late there with the fair amount of ease.
Yeah, no, the only thing there you see, Toddy, he was overloaded with that horse, and with him picking that horse, I know it wasn't a fake loaded. So, he's one of the ones to beat, Brett's other filly. But, my filly will be ready. She'll go get him.
A couple of other quick comments. TCI, you added Lasix last week. He was maybe as good as we've seen him all season.
Best he's been training, best he's been racing. I thought, last week, being honest, he was the most impressive of all the trotters. And I look forward to build on that, it's been a rough year with him. Things haven't gone the way we predicted or thought in our head. So, we got to turn it around here.
All right, and would be nice to have that signature win in the Breeders' Crown, I'm sure.
Yeah, and, obviously, we're looking at him as a stud prospect going forward, and all those wins mean a lot.
Helps to be the richest 2-year-old of all time as well. Your other one late tomorrow night's going to be the 8th race, By the Missile. He had a little bit of injury. I know there had been on for quite some time, but he's been so good. Back-to-back stakes victories. We're going to roll it back here. He was in the front end last week here running his elimination. This was a back half 53 and change. How impressed were you with his effort here last week?
He's the best horse in our barn. This horse has been the best horse in our barn for 2 years and 3 years, as a 3-year-old. And I have all the faith in him. As long as he's sound, he's going to go out and get the job done. And, I expect him to be better tomorrow, actually. He's just getting tight. The rest of these horses have had the whole year to get tight. He's actually a little fresher, and he's just probably getting tight.
Do you think that helps at this time of year? I know it's a little bit of a detriment not to have the foundation underneath them with starts. Does it help to be fresh, though, this late in the season as well?
Yeah, I got foundation in all mine. Ain't nobody working them harder. But, it definitely helps to be fresher. But, by now, usually we have burned a, candle to the wick, so I didn't want to get here how I got here. But the fact that we did, I'll be happy to race him that way.
All right, guys, By the Missile. You heard it, a confident Ron Burke. He won 2 Breeders' Crown finals last year. He's already got one here tonight with Lou Print. We'll see with those starters back on tap tomorrow night.
Some big chances tomorrow. Gabe, thank you, and thanks to trainer Ronnie Burke for that candid interview. As of course, coverage begins tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. on FS2 for the Breeders' Crown Finals. We'll get a chance to see some of the biggest stars of the sport. A lot that Ron Burke talked about, including By the Missile. I loved what he said. He's been the best horse in the barn for the last couple of years, and he's been dominant, looking to defend his title.
Yeah, and it's great when they can hold their form year after year. It's hard enough to do it race after race or month after month, but when you can do it year after year and perform at a high level and win these kind of races, that's something special. That horse is special.
Hope that you'll join us tomorrow night as well, and we'll see if By the Missile can do it again and give trainer Ron Burke yet another Breeders' Crown victory. Don't go anywhere, though. We still have another race on our program tonight from the Meadowlands, but of course, we're all looking forward to those Breeders' Crown finals tomorrow. Stay with us on America's Day at the Races.
The future is bright in Ohio. Ohio Sire Stakes, Buckeye Stallion Series, 66 county and independent fairs. Whether it's the Ohio Sire Stakes, the Buckeye Stallion Series, or the county fairs, Ohio has a place for your racehorse. This year, Ohio breds are racing for nearly $23 million in stakes purses. Be part of the winning. Breed, buy, race, win in Ohio.
We've had a wonderful breeding program here for years.
Pennsylvania has an excellent program. The proof of that is Harrisburg in November. That's a major event for Pennsylvania. We bring in some 6,000 individuals from all over the world. They want to buy Pennsylvania breds.
This is where the top stallions are. A lot of the top mares are here, and between the three major tracks here in Pennsylvania, it's perfect.
Pennsylvania has always been at the forefront, and we want to keep it there.
My grandfather instilled in me that there's no such thing as luck. He said luck is where hard work meets opportunity.
It's time for Green to get it on. Green Manalishi, whose first crop of 2-year-olds hit the track in 2024. The son of 2009 Horse of the Year Muscle Hill was a millionaire Major League Stake star who went wire to wire in the Canadian Trotting Classic. And Green Manalishi was prolific in the breeding shed. Get in on the ground floor, then head to the penthouse with your own green machine. I can't miss Green Manalishi. Book your mare today to Green Manalishi, standing at Terra Hill Stud in Ontario.
You're watching America's Day at the Races, brought to you by the Standardbred Breeders Association of Pennsylvania. That's the exit you take when you're making your way over to the Meadowlands, past MetLife Stadium, and right over here to the Big M in the sports complex. And it's great to see packed parking lot, lots of fans on the rail as well, enjoying a great night of racing.
Yeah, it's always great when you can get everybody out, you know, to the races. Nice night as well out. Great racing.
Post parade underway. The kindergarten series, the 2-year-old colts and gelding pacers get wings and don't drop the ball went by. Here's the 3 world beater.
You know, when you look at world beater, started off his career with a couple of wins, including one right here at the Meadowlands.
Here's a contender, the 4 Tom Horn.
Now, it's interesting for this horse. Banked over $85,000 this year without winning a race.
Second last out to Fallout, who just ran very well in the Breeders' Crown race prior. For No is the 5 Big Price.
Yeah, just 1 for 8 this year, and that win came down in Pennsylvania.
Seaworthy Hanover, another long shot.
Most experience of the group. He's finished in the top 3 5 of those 10 times.
And class relief for the 7, your favorite, Manolete.
Yeah, I thought his second to Captain Optimistic in the finals of the New Jersey Classic was his best race in there. You know, he kind of kept on coming and coming and coming in the stretch and didn't give up chasing him. He's got the speed from an outside post. This is a much, much softer group tonight.
Definitely the class as far as who he's been facing so far. Let's check in with Gabe and Jess.
Thanks, Acacia. Breeders' Crown coverage has come to an end, but we have the Kindergarten Classic on we roll. And, Gabe, you like the 2. Don't drop the ball. What breeding this one has.
Yeah, she's really nice, or he is really nice. Colt, should say, Jess, son of Poppy, Rob Hanover, from the Great Race Mare, dropped the ball. She won so many stakes. You know, he's just getting his footing underneath of him. 2 starts. You know, he's had a win and a second, albeit against easier company. I think this is a bit of a step up for him here tonight. We'll see what's under the hood as he continues to progress in his career. So we got off to a late start. I'm not sure what was up with that, but again, he's been very prominent in the starts that we've seen him so far.
And I really like this kindergarten series, too, just for those watching. You know, this is a series that kind of helps the horses that might not be top stakes company get raced, but horses that need some experience that definitely have it. They just need to put it all together.
Yeah, it really is. I think it's a good series, 5 legs in total, but these are big money finals, which we'll see a little bit later next month. You're looking at $400,000 a change here for some of these 2-year-old finals. So horses get, you know, several starts. They can race 5 legs, and you can sort of bump in and bump out of the series at your will. Yeah, I think it's great experience. You know, the 4 Tom Horn in here, 5-2 on the board right now. Jess, that's a second choice. This one was a runner-up to Fallout. We just saw Fallout there just get beat a head or neck in a 3rd place finish there in the Breeders' Crown final. So, you know, again, these are not, you know, that horses that are that much less than some of the top stakes colts, you know, maybe just a notch below, but it allows them to get in a spot maybe where they're not against quite as many killers, and I think Tom Horn has found that type of spot here as well. For who else? Treader Ron Burker was just 1-2 the last race we watched.
And co-owned by the driver, David Miller. I think that's kind of a fun fact there. A $95,000 Lexington selected purchase. This is the first crop of cattle wash. And this guy, it's so unfortunate he doesn't have any wins on the win column, Gabe, because he's put up a good fight after good fight.
You know, he really has. And particularly the one race in my mind, Jess, that stands out was that $240,000 New Jersey Sire Stakes final, you know, where he left there and he was part of a torrid pace and still had pace at the end of it. He was beating only a half length there. I had a close finish. That was a night where he had a chance to, score a major win, $240,000. So he just missed, but he's been on the board 6 of those 9 starts. He's going to bank a signature win before it's all said and done, and maybe he gets on the board here tonight.
Manolette for Bruce Saunders. This is another offspring from Cattle Wash. This one's had a very consistent year. 6 on the board hits from 8 starts. We know this one has plenty of gate speed.
You know, he does. He tried the Breeders' Crown last week here, and he just got away last in that spot. And the race really didn't set up for any closers. He passed one horse there late, finished 6th in his elimination, but as we know, he had to be in the top 5. So he didn't get to punch his ticket to the big money final here tonight. Ultimately lands in this kindergarten series. You know, I think a deserving favorite. You know, first or second, 6 of 8 there with that good resume. He was a second at the New Jersey Classic with $150,000 on the line. So, you know, he's been taking on better. He tried to, take the best there in the Breeders' Crown. Just did not work out, but I think he's in a much better spot tonight. I think one of the logicals here, I just, would like to see a way around him. I hate to land on a horse that's odds on, but I did give him the slight edge here as well.
A very competitive Kindergarten Classic series here. It'll be interesting to see how this race shapes up. Don't Drop the Ball is 9-2 on the board. The favorite at even money is the 7, Manolette. Back to you guys.
And understandably so, Jess, thank you. Given the class of what the 7 Manolette has been facing, you can understand that short price favoritism, Paul.
Absolutely. I'm going to just go with the 2 in here, though. I thought he ran professional in that debut. Got a nice trip. Follow that up with another nice effort in here. Seems to be on the improve. May just fall into the right trip here. He's got to do it on the mile track, though. That's the biggest question mark.
Don't Drop the Ball. Dexter Dunn looks for another victory today. Kindergarten Series 2-year-old colts and geldings pace coming up. Ken Workington has the call.
Series at even money, the 7 Manolette. At 2-1, the 4 Tom Horn. Field of 7. Here they come. They're off. Manolette on the far outside. There goes Tom Horn, who shoots out and goes for the lead. World Beater just floated away. That's Don't Drop the Ball away sharply from the inside with Get Wings. Into the first turn they go. And it's Tom Horn going after Manolette on the outside. The big favorite sweeps up on the outside to get the lead. So Don't Drop the Ball looking to tuck in 3rd there in front of Get Wings 4th past the opening quarter. Then it's World Beater 5th on the inside. And then it's Furneaux and Seaworthy Hanover. First quarter pretty sharp, 27-2 for Manolette. It settles down on top here at 1-5 for Scott Ciron. Manolette and Tom Horn in the second spot with Don't Drop the Ball tracking 3rd. Get Wings is 4th, followed by World Beater 5th. And then Furneaux and Seaworthy Hanover, and no changes at the half single file. Manolette at 1-5 continues to pave the way. Tom Horn in for that 2-hole ride behind the big favorite, 57-1, 29-4. Stroll in the second quarter. Don't Drop the Ball is 3rd. On to the far turn. Get Wings still 4th on the inside. Then it's World Beater on the inside, 5th. Then Furneaux and Seaworthy Hanover. At 3/8 to go, and it's Manolette continues to show the way. Manolette, Tom Horn, perfect trip here, and taking a peek to the outside. Fed a bit of racetrack now. Don't Drop the Ball. Late bid 3rd to the outside. Get Wings is 4th. At 3/4, it's Manolette. 125-3, very well rated. Manolette, the ball's in his court as they turn for home. Manolette by a length and a half. And on the inside, Tom Horn is second. Angles out. He'll take another late shot at him. Don't Drop the Ball is 3rd. A sprint to the wire. Manolette. Tom Horn pours it on but won't get to Manolette. Manolette, the classy one here over Tom Horn. Don't Drop the Ball. And Seaworthy Hanover in 152-1.
The class prevails. Manolette holds on late, though got a little interesting at the end there.
Yeah, I mean, Tom Horn kind of popped the pocket really late. I think he wanted to get out a little bit earlier, but they just kind of held him back a little bit till they got down the lane. I don't know, man. He's 0 for 9 now. He's hard, he just doesn't get past runners. But Manolette, though, I just think was just too much horse. And there really wasn't much movement in this race, Keisha, when you look at it. And actually, Manolette got away with a really soft second quarter in 29
That's
and
just
change.
what I was going to say. With that soft pace, you think you should be able to hold on.
You should be able to hold on. And really, Tom Horn's having a great year without having to win a race at all. I mean, you think about it, he's close to $100,000 this year without a win on his card.
Picking up some checks, nothing wrong with that, but it is Manolette with the class relief. The company that he's been facing last time out was behind Swingtown, Fallout, incredibly tough company. Second to Captain Optimistic a few back as well. So today he finds the right spot and gets to the winner's circle. Scotty Zeron in the bike, holding off the late run from Tom Horn, who picks up yet another in the money finishes. Taking a look at all of the trophies from today, we saw some terrific performances, and we'll look ahead to tomorrow's Breeders' Crown Finals. We're not done yet on the biggest weekend in the sport of harness racing.
In Indiana, we grow it. And when it comes to harness racing, the Indiana program has grown to become one of North America's very best. Breed development and the ISA have been there every step of the way by overseeing and promoting the Indiana sired racing, breeding, and stakes programs at every level. We're working to ensure a right future for all of us.
It's time for Green to get it on. Green Manalishi, whose first crop of 2-year-olds hit the track in 2024. The son of 2009 Horse of the Year Muscle Hill was a millionaire Major League Stake star who went wire to wire in the Canadian Trotting Classic. And Green Manalishi was prolific in the breeding shed. Get in on the ground floor, then head to the penthouse with your own green machine. I can't miss Green Manalishi. Book your mare today to Green Manalishi, standing at Terra Hill Stud in Ontario. Champions are made on the racetrack, but many of them are born, raised, and developed at farms right here in New Jersey. New Jersey is home to nearly 100,000 acres devoted to the horse industry, and harness racing's breeding and training facilities play a vital role in protecting open space and supporting agriculture throughout the Garden State. With the state's ongoing recognition of the importance and value of the standardbred industry, New Jersey will remain a place where champions are made. To learn more, visit sboanj.com.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.
You're watching America's Day at the Races. Thanks for sticking with us on night one of Breeders' Crown coverage. Maybe the Breeders' Crown races concluded, but we just saw in the Kindergarten Series Manolette coming out of a try in the Breeders' Crown elimination round last time out. A little bit of class relief serving him well and holding on for the victory here.
Yeah, just too much class, and being put right on the engine by Scotty Z made all of the difference tonight. And also having a horse like Tom Horn following you to the wire also helped a little bit too. Believe me, he's going to get a win. It just didn't happen tonight. And for Don't Drop the Ball, my top pick, I thought first time on a mile track, he got a little bit of the staggers in the stretch. I think he'll be better off for it if he tries the mile again next time.
$2.60 winner. He was 1-5 Manolette and was the class of the field, holding on to win race 11. We're not done as far as the Breeders' Crown coverage is concerned, though. We'll be back with you tomorrow at 7:30 Eastern. Here's a look at the Breeders' Crown schedule for Saturday, jam-packed with all the stars of the sport.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting night of action from top to bottom. All the stars will be out, all the drivers, the trainers, all the big names you're used to, and you may even have a surprise or two along the way, which is what is great about the Breeders' Crown, like we saw with Ronnie Wren a little bit earlier on.
Oh, absolutely. In that open mare pace, we'll get a chance to see likely Horse of the year, Twin B Joe Fresh. I know that we're all looking forward to seeing her, but beyond that, Paul, who are you excited to see tomorrow?
Going right back to the Burke Brigade, starting in race number 4, and I'm going to go to MM's Dream in there. And I think Trip is the key to MM's Dream, because if you look on MM's Dream's dance card, you're going to notice a lot of Jiggy Jog and a lot of horses like Ari Ferrari J and Winner's Bet. There's no major killers in this race this time around. And I think this time you need to get yourself into the flow a little bit earlier, not find yourself about 6, 7, 8 lengths off of the pace. I think with a better drive and a mid-pack post, she's going to get a good trip. And I think the other question is tomorrow we're going to have to find out, is she going to be wearing shoes or not? Because there's a question as to whether or not she's going to be. And if she's not, she's going to be dangerous in here. She's got the speed, she's got the class. Just flaunt it in a field that doesn't have the huge names in it.
Yeah. 5-2 for MM's Dream, as we just saw that impressive late rally. The way that she covers the ground is dazzling. She'll be in the open mare's trot. Gabe and Jessica, terrific job as always today. Who are you looking forward to seeing tomorrow?
Well, Gabe, I'm looking forward to seeing It's a Love Thing. I think her elimination last week, it's the old It's a Love Thing we've seen in the past. Although she got beat, she didn't see daylight until the very end of the mile. I thought it was a good effort. She does draw post 8. I think it's going to force James's hand to leave him or leave with her aggressively off the gate and get a good stalking trip.
Yeah, I think so. And you said it. You know, if you're a replay watcher, if you're a Trip handicapper, she was bottled up there, just could not get through until, unfortunately, it was just a little too late. We had our questions. Was she quite as sharp last week? I believe she stepped up and answered. That was a good effort last out. I'm expecting another one tomorrow night as well.
Who are you looking forward to seeing tomorrow?
Well, I'm looking forward to all 8 of those championships, as we know, Jess. But I will say the horse that really has caught my eye throughout the entire season is Winner's Bet at the 9th race. She's in that open trot tomorrow night, $600,000. Nancy Tactor, the leading female trainer in Breeders' Crown history. And this is for the Antonacci connections. Trainer Phil Antonacci's made his mark at the thoroughbred sport. His father, Frank Antonacci, and just the entire family, the Lindy Farms crew, they've done so well. You're going to take a look at him just absolutely rip-roaring through the Caesars Trotting Classic. This is a good field. I know that it may look like against a subpar group, some of the top trotters in the sport right here, and you see Winner's Bet and Dexter Dunn drawing off a decisive victory. The 4-year-old's earned over $1 million. He comes in as sharp as he's ever been in his life. He ripped through 3 consecutive out in the Midwest. We took a look there at the Hoosier Parkway, and he also won at Sourdough Downs the Red Mile as well. Love him in this spot tomorrow. I think he's in a different orbit right now than his foes. Now, we're not going to get any bargain on him. He's just 6-5 in the morning line, but, he's as good as I've ever seen him, but he's been very good throughout his career. I'm just looking forward to seeing him here on the track tomorrow night.
I feel like every time I see him on the track, I feel like he can't get any better looking, and he looks better and better every time he steps on the track.
He really does. Nancy Tactor took over the training, and she's done an excellent job managing this guy because, he's always had, maybe some hot issues on the track. I think as a youngster, he made some breaks or whatnot, but whatever they've done lately is working. Dexter gets along with him so well, and again, I just don't think they can touch him if he's as good as he's been of late.
Well, we had a great night of racing tonight, of course, with those 4 championship racing for the 2-year-olds. Really looking forward to those 8 tomorrow. We'll obviously be here bringing all the action live with Acacia and Paul.
We're looking forward to it, guys. Thanks so much, as tomorrow will be a tremendous night of racing. We talked about some of the ones that we are most looking forward to. Who impressed you the most tonight as far as the 2-year-old performances go?
I think you got to look at Lady Landia a little bit, too, just by the way that she ran. And also Blueprint, too. I think Blueprint was the forgotten horse, for Team Burke in that race. And I think, we saw it in the price as well, just because of the fact that, the horse didn't get an aggressive drive in the elimination race, and the horse was a little bit further back. Tonight, as Ron Burke said earlier on our show, the note was received by Ron Jr., and he left for position and got a nice pocket ride and was able to parlay that into a win. I mean, I thought they all ran well.
Big performances tonight as well. Maryland, I thought, very impressive. He was our lone favorite to win tonight in the Breeders' Crown 2-year-old races. But of course, tomorrow, a lot of eyes will be on Twin B Joe Fresh, the likely horse of the year. She's been atop that standard-bred poll for several months now throughout in the #1 spot. And the big question is, can she wrap up and seal kind of a tremendous 2024 with the big one, with the Breeders' Crown victory?
I think she's got the right post position to do it. tomorrow night, you know, when you look at her limb race, she was saddled with post 10, and she did leave, and she made it to the top. And you know, when you look at a horse like Grace Hill, who beat her, Grace Hill's a champion. You know, so it's not like that she lost to a horse that you scratch your head about. So with post 5 tomorrow, I think that she's set up well. There's no excuses tomorrow. You have to get the job done. And, you know, it's been a great couple of years for her. You know, she's danced every big dance. She's won a lot of them. Now it's time to get yourself a Horse of the Year title.
As, of course, as you mentioned, defeated last week in the elimination behind Grace Hill, who has her own set of credentials. Twin P Joe Fresh drawn to the far outside that day, drawn much better tomorrow as well. So we'll have a chance to see all of the stars in action in the Breeders' Crown on that Saturday show. If you are considering it, come on out to the Meadowlands as well. We hope that you'll tune in with us, but if you're in the area, come on out. Weather's supposed to be pretty good as well. We're looking forward to a great night of racing.
Yeah, weather was great tonight. The crowds were great tonight, and the action was great tonight. That's all you can ask for. Every day at the track is a good day.
Isn't that what they say? A bad day at the track is still better than a good day anywhere else?
Oh, 100%. 100%.
We've had a terrific job here at the Meadowlands. Thank you so much for staying tuned with us on our coverage of night 1 of the Breeders' Crown. Tomorrow we'll be back. We're starting a little bit earlier on tomorrow's show at 7:30 p.m. to get in those 8 Breeders' Crown finals. We'll be on from 7:30 to 11. Be sure to check your local listings, but join us starting at 7:30 on FS2. For Gabe Pruitt, Jessica Otten, Paul Rosa, I'm Acacia Clement. Thanks for joining us. And thank you to all of our equine stars who gave us such great performances tonight, including Lady Landia in the 2-year-old filly Trot. Impressive, taking her step forward for the Svanstead barn. And how about the 2-year-old filly Pacers, Mickey and Minnie at 5-1, turning things around, coming back with a big performance tonight, and it was Maryland in the 2-year-old colts Trot, the favorite, delivering with an incredibly game performance. We'll be back tomorrow for more Breeders' Crown coverage.